Okay, folks, we are now live. Now, I just need a couple of minutes to make sure that all three streams are running as intended, and I haven't screwed up any of the lines here. We do have three streams running right now, and I need to make sure footage of all of them is recorded so that I can do, just like what I did last week, go through and make transcriptions of all the messages, etc., which I just finished for last week's, by the way. But it looks like all three streams are running as I intended. So we're good to go. So folks who are joining us this evening, and just to make sure that this stream is ahead of all the other ones, please make sure that you guys are doing the usual YouTube stuff. I won't badger you about it, but, blah, blah, blah. Like and subscribe the stream, just so that anyone who is in the other streams and has any questions or comments that they're coming over here, not necessarily using the chat box in the other sections. So, folks, as far as what is going on tonight, there's not a very long recap to go. Well, there is a recap to go through. Let's go through that now. So last week, we did have a Skymaster event. And when that kind of concluded and wrapped up, I did a couple during that live stream and then during a recap live stream a couple days later. I said there is a good chance, not a great chance, but a decent chance of at least one more, quote unquote, Skymaster event this month. And I'm able to make quote unquote predictions like this because these tend to be periodic. They tend to occur around the same time every year with the same frequency. So last year there were 2 days with Skymaster messages in April. This year we're having a second day in April with Skymaster messages, and in other streams and videos on this channel, it does not surprise me to find out that on a Wednesday in April, we have a Skymaster event ongoing. So a lot of folks are asking, is this an exercise? Is this real? Does this relate to what's going on in the Middle East? And my answer to that is a fairly straightforward. What was going on in the Middle East last year? Because those, you want to draw parallels to that before you start to I guess, make these broader connections to just anything that's going on in the news. And it's not to diminish anyone who's asking that question. It's a very fair question. There's going to be a lot of other channels and accounts tonight talking about this is real, this relates to this relates to that. Mario123 in the chat box is mentioning exercise Vigilant Shield. Yeah, I saw a tweet mentioning that. I have not had time to look through the other scheduled exercises right now. I don't know if it's Vigilant Shield or not. I don't know how someone would make that connection. If they're privy to that information, I would love for them to share that with people, but at this time, I don't know. I would just say we were able to see this coming. And as I've got in the top right corner of the stream video, well, I've got, the title, and then I've got the time, and then I've got just a quick little blurb. I don't believe he's going to be here at this time of the day, but PDGLS, that is a YouTube account. That is not a Twitter account that I'm aware of. He was in the chat box for the 24/7 live streams we do on this channel yesterday, and he told me, hey, I notice a lot of notice to all airmen that's reserving airspace, and we've got a message coming right now, so let's take a listen. I don't know what that was. That was quite rough to hear. So just so we're kind of clued in on what we're looking at on screen here, leftmost is a SDR in Alberta, so that is Western Canada. That is roughly above North Dakota, which is an area of interest for the Hfgcs. Looks like we've got some digital signals going on 11175 right now being picked up by that receiver. I don't see it on the other 11175 stream I've got going on this channel, but I've heard that kind of noise before, so not surprised to hear it. This middle one, I may have to change it because it looks like it's dealing with a lot of background noise, but at the moment, it's in Wisconsin, which is an interesting area for us for reasons I'll get into later. And on the far right, as out of curiosity, and I may minimize that because it's really unlikely to have any activity, but I am interested to see if it does. Area of interest for me. This is a SDR located in South Korea, and we'll see if it picks anything up. So, respectively, at the moment, they are tuned to 11175 kilohertz, 9031 kilohertz, 8992. And believe me, I'll be pulling out more SDRs and we'll be cycling through these. But just to orient folks who aren't familiar, the primary main HFGCS frequencies, high frequency global communication system, used by the US military, normally to broadcast EAMs, of which, by the way, April 17th, 0 EAMs, not very common. Don't know if that necessarily means that this was, that it ties into, the messages we're hearing now. But more on that in a bit. So yes, 4724-8992, 11175-15016. They also have some additional discrete frequencies, and that's just a very fancy military term for secret, kind of, but they're not very secret because I know about them and lots of other people who monitor shortwave radio know about them. And yeah, I'm going to change that middle one because it's even visually distracting, I feel like. Let's use that one. All right, so that one we're going to throw to 9031. So 9031 is a frequency used for E6 to E6 communications. Now we're going to pull this up, the map for you guys right now, just to show you when it comes to traffic I am interested in for air traffic. There's a lot of US military air traffic at any point in time. It's very important for anyone watching, and I haven't had a chance to see whether this stream is getting traction or not at this hour of the night, and with these analytics and so on. But I am not a US military flight expert. I feel like I kind of am a bit clumsy with it. So I am familiar with as much as I need to know to understand the radio traffic, and the majority of radio traffic comes from the US Navy's E6s, and their primary mission is to receive, verify, and rebroadcast EAMs to, we assume, and there's good reason to assume that it's not based on nothing, to submarines which are located on the coastlines of the US. And they do occasionally do it over the Gulf of Mexico. No reason to assume there aren't also submarines in the Gulf of Mexico. And there are also E4s, and we'll zoom in here. So the E4s right now, alongside some additional E6s, they are all sitting at Offutt Air Base, which is in Nebraska. Do I have that right? I'm not from America. I apologize profusely for my loose awareness of geography, but yeah, Omaha, Nebraska, that's kind of their home, whether that's the case de facto or just de jure or just de facto. I believe it's in both. But these E6s on the coasts, you could kind of see these coming because of the notices, which are kind of reserving air traffic. And the things they're doing right now are not particularly conspicuous or strange. This ties in with the airspace reservations. One on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. All right, nothing crazy there. As far as the radio checks we've been hearing, as far as the call signs that we've been hearing doing Skymaster message broadcasts, those have been B-52s using Doom call signs. And this all kicked off about an hour ago, so I don't have the exact timing. I'm going to have to actually review the streams that I've been broadcasting to note those times and do transcriptions and kind of orient ourselves in terms of what's happening when. But it was about an hour ago. Let's see. I mean, if you guys will entertain me for the moment, we'll do this together. And by the way, just to recap, okay, we've got a healthy audience. 3 streams. So this one at the bottom, 8992 kilohertz in the West Coast. I don't expect a lot of traffic necessarily, but we have seen at least one message so far that only that SDR picked up, located in California, so that's good. This stream, me talking, you are watching it right now. And I promise you, take a look through the chat box and answer your questions. I just want to orient for everyone who is here right now and kind of give you an idea of what's going on. And then this stream, which was where we caught the broadcasts of the Skymaster messages. So just to let you guys know, this stream runs 12-hour streams twice a day for 24-hour coverage, and so that they don't run over 12 hours and YouTube doesn't archive the videos, so they're always available for people to look through and peruse. And just for context, if you were to look through all of the footage that we have for April 17th, you would find no messages, and you would even see here a note that there appear to be no EAMs, and I give a little bit of context for you guys there, and I actually updated it because I forgot to mention that on Christmas there were no EAMs then either. You'll have some radio checks and so on, but April 17th, no EAMs, and it started around, let's see. I remember someone in the chat box commenting Skymaster messages, and over the last little bit, I've had a lot of false positives from folks who'll just show up in the chat box and say Skymaster. I'm like, that's not what a Skymaster is. I believe it was this one at 005. Let's check. So just to let you guys know, that's how you tell something is a Skymaster message. If it's not the usual format of an EAM, that's not the usual person who broadcasts an EAM. So that was pretty much the tip-off. So that was at about, well, you can see right there, I do have the time on these streams. So 5 minutes into the 18th, with just to give you guys context, that would be 8:05 Eastern, and I'm not going to even take a stab at the other time zones in North America. But that's how it's looking. So it is now 9:14 Eastern. And it's hard for me to predict for you guys what you can expect in terms of how busy the radio is going to be for the next little bit. The January exercise started around a similar time. Let's throw up the SDRs, by the way. It started around a similar time as this one, and then, similar level of busyness, and then slowed down. And there was actually about 3-4 hours of not much activity. And then very late in the night, we had messages back to back. We had messages on secret frequencies. We had all kinds of crazy things going on. So at any point, if things do not seem particularly exciting, it does not mean it's over. It actually means that I may have to stay up quite late tonight. And now let me just take a look at your questions, because I believe that's as good as a recap I can do for you right now. First of all, Dat Silencer, thank you very much for your super chat. Good to see you. Glad you can make it here tonight. One of the people who has been supporting this channel for a while, both on Buy Me a Coffee and on Patreon. Thank you very much, sir. Let's see what's going on. So folks checking in at the start. Good to see you here. Some comments about Vigilant Shield. So, Vigilant Shield. I'm just doing a quick search to see what we have for you for Vigilant Shield, and it looks like we've already got a result. During the visit, so this is just a photo of either a award ceremony or just some sort of a recognition ceremony, and you can see here, I'm speed reading. During the visit, a general recognized individuals for their outstanding contributions to, I don't know what that abbreviation is, MAR4 North, operations during exercises Arctic Edge 24 and Vigilant Shield 2424. So Vigilant Shield, they're talking about it in the past tense. My inclination would be to assume that Vigilant Shield is over and that's not what's going on right now, but it could also be a long exercise. Nunya Business in the chat box says Vigilant Shield 24 ended in March. Yeah, I could well be done. I also saw the tweet from someone saying this is related to Vigilant Shield. I don't know. Even last week, my guess that the Skymaster event was related to Global Thunder, I always said I think, that's my guess. A lot of people in this hobby are going to tell you things as fact. I don't know why they do that. And the more I've spent in this hobby, because I get you should be able to tell. I feel like other people do not do a great job. This is not my background, but I've been doing this for quite a while now. I'm very careful to tell you more upfront. I don't know, so I don't believe this is related to Vigilant Shield, just because of the context of what's going on. But for all I know, Vigilant Shield is ongoing. I will continue to look for that in the background for you guys. Let's see. Goose Canoe Jones comments, I smell a false flag coming. So Goose Canoe, this is a fairly routine exercise. This is at least the fourth one this year. We've had Skymasters in January. We've had a Skymaster early in February when we had a Mercury E6 under the jurisdiction of the Navy. Fly to Europe. It landed at Ramstein Air Force Base. I was there for about a week, and halfway through that visit, not quite sure what they were doing there, but halfway through they did fly north to and they took a path that took them to the Faroe Islands, which is northeast of the United Kingdom. And during their time there, they flew some loops. They broadcast similar to what we're hearing right now. Skymaster messages were broadcast to them. And then last week, hop through because it's all archived on this channel for you, including an individual video, which is a recording of a Sky King message broadcast last week. So we're not quite sure what that was, but my guess, and I talk about why during the previous live streams, probably, or sorry, not probably. My guess of what is most likely is Global Thunder. There's also a NATO exercise ongoing, Steadfast Defender, that will last to the end of May. And I haven't seen anyone ask about this one yet, but they certainly asked about it last week. Is this related to Steadfast Defender? I don't know. I don't believe so. And the reason I say I don't believe so is because we don't have any U.S. military aircraft that I monitor in Europe right now. However, that's not absolutely diagnostic. And what we'll do when we look at the map again is expand not just to E4s and E6s, but take a look at all of the U.S. military aircraft in the air right now, because as we know from the call signs, there are B-52s involved in this exercise. Some more questions about the Middle East. So yeah, I don't believe this is related to what's going on in the Middle East. If it is, and we see something happen tonight, that means I've done several streams where I predicted what was going on. So it's going to be tough for me this evening, but if you guys state things that are not fact, I'm at the very least going to time you out. So I don't know why I've got someone in my chat box right now saying that EAMs are not real. I don't know what that means, sir. Now I know up north is here. I don't know if he'll be available to moderate. So it's just me in here tonight, guys. So let's keep it fairly civil. And if you have questions, questions are welcome. But if you state things that are not true, I'm not going to be able to engage with you tonight. It is late, and I'm doing 3 streams and moderating. And actually, I've got a little pickle here. Okay, there we go. One of the computers running the streams was not even plugged in and was about to die. The battery was about to run out. Crisis averted, so that's what I'm keeping my priorities on. Let's see what other questions we have. Crypto B has a very open-ended question. What does this mean? But my advice to you would be you will get a lot more out of the stream. Pinned in the chat box, I have 3 links. The last 3, the last 2 of those 3 are links to the other streams that are running right now. The first link, it is about 40 minutes, but as you guys can see, this is following a similar traffic pattern to what we saw in January, where it starts, then seems to go quiet, and I would not be surprised if it takes, a couple hours to really get going proper, if not longer. This is gonna be a long night, possibly. But yes, the link in the chat box pin, I go through pretty much everything this channel is about at the top. But if you only want to hear about Skymaster, and I'll show you guys all of what's going on here. If I can click the link. So this is the video you would want to watch. It's under 50 minutes, and I edited the audio, so you should be able to watch it at 1.52 times speed if you'd so like. But if you just want to watch the Skymaster bit, and you don't want to find out about the Hfgcs and what this channel is and etc., absolutely fair. There is a timestamp link 2347. It'll put you to where I talk about past Skymaster events, my anticipation of what will happen with Skymaster events this year, some of which has pretty much gone exactly as I anticipated it would. So that will answer your very broad, what does this mean type questions. Let's see what else we've got from folks. People are asking where I am, what time am I talking about? I'm just providing time zones in North America because I know most of my audience is in North America. Just to recap, this started under an hour and a half ago. And this stream, when it started about 23 minutes ago, we've heard a couple bits of radio traffic so far, but not a ton. Cam comments, outstanding coverage. Thank you very much. And it is a focus for this channel just to make sure that we do have 24/7 streams running to record the Hfgcs. So for anyone who doesn't want the commentary and just wants the raw audio or the raw recordings, that's why those other 2 streams are going right now. And it would probably be a lot better for YouTube analytics if I had just one stream going, but the other 2 streams are important. And it's up to you guys which of the streams you want to watch. If you want to watch all 3, you'll have a lot of audio echoing and etc. If you want to watch the other 2, that's fine. And then I would suggest probably watching the other 2 because sometimes during these exercises, what they normally do with EAMs is broadcast simultaneously on all the frequencies, or at least 2 or 3 or 4 of the frequencies. What we will have here is, instead of simulcasts, messages broadcast on 11175 probably won't be broadcast on 8992, and vice versa, and they'll end up being exclusive. So that's why we're running all these multiple streams. Scott 767300, why does US permit their strategic airborne assets positions to be published in real time? So it's not all of them. It is not all of them. I don't know where the B-52s are. They may be on another site like Flight Radar 24 or something, but I don't believe they are all available. Some do fly black, but it is a safety issue. So in some form or another, they do need to transmit uh, where they are to avoid collisions. I would say this is basic flight stuff, and it's speculation on my part. I haven't read any official material that verifies this, but kind of common sense. To avoid collisions, and in the event that someone's signal is lost, that we know the last point they were, and to follow up on. Comment from Cam on a earlier abbreviation I wasn't familiar with. MAR4 North is Marine Forces Command, so that was in the context of trying to figure out whether this was Vigilant Shield or not, because we knew someone from MAR4 North, so Marine Forces Command North, obviously, was at some kind of a recognition or award ceremony earlier this year, so Vigilant Shield is probably done. Some comments about another YouTube stating that Skymaster means Defcon 2. Is that true? No, that is not true. I don't know where they're getting their information. At the very least, someone should have the sense to say, I don't know that for sure, because there's no source for that. I've never read anything to that effect in any of the things, and believe me, I have done all kinds of Google searches for Skymaster, etc. I've done Bing searches. I've checked all kinds of archives. I've not seen yet any correlation between Skymaster messages and Defcon status. And your second question, aren't Defcon levels classified? Absolutely. Earlier on a stream this week, we did look through, there was an EAM broadcast once, and we have a primary source verifying there was a EAM that was used to change the Defcon status. That EAM was broadcast on September 11th, 2001. And we know that from transcriptions of US military meetings held on that day. And that is a direct quote. Depending on how traffic goes, and depending on how I do with answering questions from you guys, I will pull up that transcript for you and we can go through that. But that is the, so far, only source of information, with one additional anecdotal source verifying something to that effect, saying that EAMs change Defcon status, but Skymaster, no, Skymaster exercises should not change Defcon statuses. And anyone kind of wondering about what is the upper limit of what a military exercise is capable of doing in terms of real world threats or changing to Defcon status or anything like that, I would suggest looking up Able Archer 83 if you're unfamiliar. In 1983, NATO, and the US is part of NATO, so they were certainly involved, ran a war game exercise in Europe, and the Soviet Union really could not tell, is this a war game or are they actually about to start World War III? And that is, a lot of people will cite the Cuban Missile Crisis as the last time we came close to a full-out World War III. There is some evidence to believe that in 1983, we came even closer, and it's just not well documented or openly discussed. But for those interested, certainly look that up. There are videos on YouTube. There are even podcasts about the Able Archer 83 event. And even then, I don't know if I've ever read anything saying that Able Archer 83 changed Defcon status. Cam, again, was the Sky King message last week also part of an exercise? So just to pull that one up for anyone interested in listening to that, because I archived that for very good reason. We'll take a very brief look at it. But last week, a Sky King message did broadcast, and, well, let's go ahead and listen to it, because it's less than a minute long. So again, April 12th, this was broadcast.
Skymaster, this is Sky King. Message of 10 group follows. Hotel, Kilo, Quebec. Juliet, Charlie, Oscar. Foxtrot, Oscar, Yankee. Lima, Bravo, Zulu. Papa, Uniform, Golf. Echo, Victor, Quebec. Echo, Whiskey, Mike. Uniform, Golf, Victor. Romeo, Sierra, Uniform. Bravo, Alpha, Delta. Sky King out.
So that was the most recent recording of a Sky King message that's been posted online and documented since July 2022. There's more information about the context and history of Sky King messages in the description of that video for those interested. But that is very different from what we've heard in the past broadcast by Sky King. That, I would assume, since it was directed to Skymaster, would have been part of last week's exercise. Nonetheless, it's definitely a conspicuous broadcast. Glitch, what is this all about? We got a lot going on, my friend. I guess just strap in and find out. If you are really interested and you're just joining, there is a link pinned in the chat box. Well, there are 3 links, but the first one is going to be what you'll want to take a look at. I made it in January, and I talk about Skymaster events. I also talk about this channel at length. A lot of information in there. I promise. These Skymaster things have weird pacing, and honestly, I think you may be able to squeeze in that entire video, or at least in portions. Maybe half an hour before we hear something else. The pacing of these is quite strange. You may be able to fit that entire thing in. We've got some comments about other channels, so I have some interesting peers in the space of monitoring the Hfgcs, and we try not to talk about them too much. We'll say they just put a lot of incorrect information out there. Some questions. What Skymaster event? You know, again, very, very high end. Guys, and it goes both ways. Please don't necessarily make a big deal out of other channels too. We're not here to bash them either. We're just here to monitor the Skymaster event as it happens. Marty, is this an exercise? Most likely. A comment from Dawn, this may not be a test. Israel may launch an attack. We have assets on standby for protection. So Dawn and other folks, and this ties into Chloe's mom's question, is this a drill? I talked about this potentially happening back in January. I talked about this potentially happening to more detail earlier this week in a live stream I did, similar format to this one. I took questions, put some comments, put together some information. From what happened in April of 2023, we were able to document Skymaster messages on 2 days, and I've put together a fairly straightforward theory. Skymaster messages probably happen around the same time each year, and they are routine, pre-scheduled military exercises. So after we had 2 Skymaster exercises in April of 2023, and this year we had a Skymaster event once in April 2023, I said, you know, we'll probably have one more Skymaster event in April of 2024. And that currently is it. This is ongoing. As far as folks may have a very good question, is this real or not, and why am I kind of communicating to you guys, you know, condition red, and using, you know, all caps titles and etc. As far as this channel and what its interests are and what it monitors, You know, I don't do day-to-day what's going on in Russia, what's going on in Israel. I've stuck to a very specific topic, which is just monitoring the Hfgcs. So, for example, a question just now about, you know, there are so many messages broadcast today. Is this typical? Is that typical? I have the context to answer that. Other channels will claim to have monitored the Hfgcs for 20, 30 years. They'll, you know, they'll be ex-military. They'll tell you a tall tale. Um, and I make that accusation, you know, very fairly. They don't know what they're talking about. You just have to listen to the HFGCS for even a few weeks, and you know you'll hear a day with 30 messages, and that's when you'll realize, you know, the week before when the guy told you 25 messages in a day is a world record, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So, condition read in the context of this channel, Skymaster events happen very few times a year. They are something I'm very interested in because I believe these are high intensity war games. Um, they are, you know, kind of rehearsing how would things be executed in certain contexts. So this one, not necessarily, but the January. Let me just show you. You know, when this stream does, or if this really does slow down a little bit and not too much happens. This is how I pull up the information I don't remember. I just look through these streams and the thumbnails because I tend to label them and title them. So there's a Skymaster event January 11th. And that was a very high intensity one. That's the one that lasted into the night. A really big deal. That one is pretty much, I believe, where they practice what would happen if we were in a major war with a peer adversary. So, this is where we can, you know, talk about our Russias and our Chinas and etc. You know, where we can talk about the U.S. engaging with another nuclear power. And I believe what Skymaster masters are in those contexts. This is a lot of speculation. I've been looking for something to substantiate this, but I haven't yet found anything to quite substantiate what Skymaster masters may be one way or another. But there's kind of a call and response format to Skymaster masters. So what we've heard tonight, a B-52 will read to Skymaster a set of characters, and then another plane seems to be playing the role of Skymaster, and they'll either identify as a Skymaster call sign or use a secondary call sign. It kind of seems like the B-52 is reporting back what it did, and this isn't my own original speculation. This was something I read on a Usenet group. Scott is commenting, any significance to 4-character messages? So I haven't yet had an opportunity to transcribe any of the messages, but what I will do is show you a resource that I like to use at times like this. Let's see if I can pull it up here. That's probably better centered than the other one. This is a forum called hfunderground.com. And in addition to this channel and my Twitter account, twitter.com/neatintel, where I put out transcriptions and recordings of EAMs and other HFGCS traffic. This is someone else. They do their own work, and you can use their transcriptions and information to corroborate the information I'm sharing with you in case you wanted, you know, a secondary source or a secondary opinion on things. This is someone else entirely, and he has a dedicated forum thread just for Skymaster events. So this was one in August 2022. And we see there were 4-character messages broadcast then. And if you look through this log, this year in January, a lot of 4-character messages were broadcast to Skymaster. Or sorry, that was January 2023, not this year. August of last year, some messages, etc. By the way, if you look through here, just to verify for anyone, so this is my account on there, Neat Intel. I mentioned hearing Skymaster messages in April of 2023, and you can also see the last edit date. So just to give you guys a context, predict isn't quite the right word, but certainly you're able to anticipate these in advance. And he's also got transcriptions of the exercise last week, and what we want to look at right now, page 2. So he has been right on top of this exercise as it happened. So he was probably also able to anticipate this as it happened. And you can see he is transcribing the 4-character messages as they happen. I will do my own set of transcriptions over the next few days, just to give you guys an idea. It took me, because it was busy last week for the Hfgcs, and I was also busy in my own life. I don't do this full time. It took me to today to find time to finish transcribing all of last week's Skymaster messages. Now I can't publish them yet because I'm covering this right now, but nothing too different from what he transcribed last week. Just a couple that I believe he missed that I captured, and vice versa. There's a couple he got that I couldn't find in my stream, so there's a good relationship there. But here you can see his transcriptions. And just because I'm shouting other people out right now, again, you'll see on the video stream screen right now, I shout out the YouTube user PDGLS. He also shares recordings and some coverage of the Hfgcs, and he was in this stream's chat box last night, and he said, no promises, but it does look like there could be a Skymaster event tomorrow. And tomorrow is today, and that is what is happening. Little Lily 84 asks, what program are you using to listen in? So what you're seeing on screen right now, these are called Kiwi SDRs. People around the world voluntarily buy this software-defined receiver. That's what SDR stands for. They plug it into their computers, they get an antenna, and then they share it online through a website called rx.linkfanel.net. And that is rx.linkfanel. When you punch that in, you get a very large map of the world, and you can click any one of these and pick one. So this one is, that's got some weird filtering going on or something. Let's pick this one in Nevada just as a quick example. If it feels like loading. Fantastic. Let's quickly mute it. And you can zoom in. What you're going to want to do once you've loaded one of these up is, well, on your keyboard, hit U for upper sideband, and the frequencies that you'll be interested in are, these are the main frequencies. If I get a chance later, we'll talk about some of the additional frequencies, but for now, 4724, 8992, 11175, 15016. You just type those in, you hit enter, and maybe you'll hear something. And you can mute, you can unmute. There's something called squelch, which you can kind of play around with to just cut out the background noise, because the messages are going to be a lot louder. So for example, if you were to pick a squelch here of 6 decibels, you won't hear any background noise. If you turn it all the way down, you will begin to hear background noise. And the trick there is that your squelch isn't set too high that you can't hear any messages being broadcast either. I recommend somewhere between 5 and 10 decibels on the squelch limit, and you're trying for lower, but if you find you're still hearing too much background noise, slowly turn it up. If you're finding you have to turn it up way too much, you may want to try a different SDR. There's either too much noise local to that SDR, or it's not a very good antenna, or whatever it is. And that is in addition to a lot of options that I'm throwing to you guys tonight. You can tune into this stream if you want to hear me talking, you just want to leave things running in the background. You have a stream of 11175, you've got a stream of 8992. I am not going to talk during those, except if I just, have to do a short notification that one stream is ending due to technical issues or something like that. But I'm not going to hop on the mic on those and ramble on. That is what this stream is for. So if you guys have more questions along those lines, let me know. A comment from Zechariah Ross: Skymaster messages are rare. Refer to also as emergency action message Friday night before Israel. Okay, so there's a lot going on with this comment. Skymaster messages are different from EAMs, and there's no strong correlation between EAM broadcasts and anything going on elsewhere in the world. Charles Wetzel comments the U.S. military utilizes a color system for its alert statuses, to which red indicates the highest alert status, meaning not necessarily bad thing happening, but the highest level of alert. That is absolutely true, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. With my condition red, it just means something. No, red for me, I guess, means something is happening, but it does not mean something real is happening. It just means, as far as I'm interested, when it comes to listening to the radio and the Hfgcs, this is going to be a better time than others to tune in. James Johnson, how is transcription done? With the keyboard, sir, and a set of headphones. Transcription, a lot of people are confused. I don't mean to pick on you individually, but I had someone coming into the chat box a couple days ago saying it's impossible to transcribe EAMs, you're lying to people. And the word transcribe, basically, I hope this isn't too patronizing, but you know, maybe you guys don't know that this option exists on Google or something. If you type in define and then you do colon, that's how you pull up dictionary definitions. So define, transcribe. Again, I apologize if this is a little bit too rude, but maybe some people aren't familiar with this word. Maybe it's a generational thing, but I've known this is something I feel like I learned in grade school. So transcribe just means to put thoughts, speech, or data into written or printed form. So, you know, a court stenographer, they are transcribing conversation. That's, and me, if I hear someone broadcast something on the radio and I type out what they're saying, that is all it means to transcribe something. And again, that's not necessarily to pick on the person who asked how is transcription done, but just some folks are not sure what that word means. So I hope that clears it up. A comment from Scott, 767-300. Thank you for the source recommendation. Absolutely. The Swiller, thank you very much for showing up. So the Swiller is one of the moderators for tonight. I wasn't sure if he would be available at this time, but nothing too bad right now. With the other streams, I threw up just some timer limits, so people need to be subscribed for at least, I believe, 30 minutes. And that is just to manage the quality of questions and comments. But the brunt of things should be handled on this stream. So again, some more comments and questions about what exactly is the Defcon status. Nothing that has occurred on the Hfgcs tonight indicates a change in Defcon status. Everything about the Hfgcs traffic tonight indicates a military exercise going on. All right, so I believe those are the main questions I've gone through quickly just while I was talking in the last little bit. So what we'll do now, and this is the flight radar website I use. There are certainly others, and I'm not as good with them. But as I mentioned earlier, when it comes to military flight traffic, I am not the expert, so I can talk to you about the U.S. military's E6s and E4s because these guys, we know for a fact, are involved in broadcasting EAMs. I can verify that for you right now. We are going to type in Strategic Communications Wing 1 into Bing. That's all right. Bing works fine. I get Bing points when I use Bing. But this is a U.S. Navy website, an official website of the U.S. government. Strategic Communications Wing 1 talks to you about the E-6 Mercury aircraft fleet. And it talks to you about their primary mission, which is to receive, verify, and retransmit EAMs. So this is my source. The E6s are involved in EAMs. There are certainly other sources out there, but I just go straight to the horse's mouth for this one. That is my reliance for there. E4s are also involved, and I don't have an immediate military website to pull up for you guys on that one. At least for now, you'll just, I guess, I don't want anyone to take my word for anything, but I won't have time on stream to look that up for you and demonstrate that. But certainly that evidence is out there. So this map right now is just filtered to E4s and E6s. And as we can see right now, the E4s, those are the big guys, those are top guns. They're still sitting at Offutt Air Force Base in Nebraska. And thank you for the folks in chat box for confirming I am right with that element of American geography. We have E6s on the East Coast. We have E6s on the West Coast. And they are flying in areas that were reserved for them yesterday, over 24 hours ago. And these are flight patterns that we see them fly most days of the week, most days of the year. We also have an E6, and this is a training call sign. So most call signs are random, but there are some that they tend to reuse over and over and over. Rough would be one of them, and he's flying really big circles. Nothing crazy there. And this is an E6 out of Tinker Air Force Base, which was that website we just looked at is going to talk to you about Tinker Air Force Base being kind of the home base of these E6s. It took off. Well, let's see if we can filter this. What hex code is this? I should be able to tell you when it took off. Unless I do that. I mean, it took off in the last, I don't know, half hour, 40. Okay, I'm not going to be able to do it because I keep missing the thing. But as you can see, its altitude right now is not even 6,000 feet. So it took off fairly recently, and it's climbing right now. And my guess for that guy, even though its flight path doesn't quite look like it's heading due south, more of a southwest, I would not be surprised if it ends up over the Gulf of Mexico, because that is the other airspace reservation we saw posted around the same time. And these 3 simultaneous airspace reservations, which are going to last until...
Dexterity, Dexterity, this is last man on 11175. How copy? My station, over.
So that, what we just heard right now, may well be this plane. We'll find out. We're gonna see what direction it goes in. And I'm gonna hang myself on this one. It's now like heading northwest, but I'm gonna say I think it's gonna end up over the Gulf of Mexico. And if I'm wrong, I will eat that. But let's go back to listening in.
Dexterity, this is last man on 11175. How copy? My station, over.
Last caller, this is Dexterity, please say your last, over.
Dexterity, this is last man. Request to check into the net at this time. I say again, this is last man requesting to check into the net at this time. How copy, over?
Last man, this is Dexterity, I have you loud and clear. Is this real world or exercise? I say again, is this real world or exercise? How copy, over?
is last man. This is real world check-in. I say again, this is real world check-in. Last man. Over.
Last man, this is Dexterity, I request to authenticate Charlie, Lima, Oscar. I say again, Charlie, Lima, Oscar. How copy, over?
Dexterity, I authenticate Charlie, Lima, Oscar, with Zulu. I say again, I authenticate Charlie, Lima, Oscar, with Zulu. If correct, request you authenticate Charlie, Tango, Sierra. I say again, if correct, request you authenticate Charlie, Tango, Sierra. Over.
Last man, this is Dexterity, I authenticate Charlie, Tango, Sierra with November. I say again, Charlie, Tango, Sierra with November. If correct, I have you checking in to the net at 0157 Zulu. How copy, over?
Dexterity, this is last man, copy all. No further assistance requested at this time. This is last man, out.
Alright, give me a moment. We've got a lot to talk about here. I'm just juggling the other stream in the background to make sure it captured that audio. This came up earlier this week because someone said it's impossible to use the primary Hfgcs frequencies for exercises. And I said that doesn't make sense because in the past there have been operators on primary Hfgcs frequencies who will ask people, is this exercise or real world, which implies both are possible on the frequency. So as we heard just now, that question just happened. Is this real world or is this a exercise? And I've heard that question asked before, and they've said real world before. So we'll get to that. But I want to go through because there are people who haven't heard any of that before and don't know any element of what we just heard. So we'll throw up the map again. If I can get to the right tab here. Map should now be up. So in terms of planes that have, taken off relatively recently, we were looking at this one earlier. So Alpha Echo 0419. I was saying it was going to fly over the Gulf of Mexico. It's really not looking like it's headed that way. So I'm going to be wrong on that one most likely. But when it comes to hearing planes checking into the net, those would be, as I said, E6s are involved in rebroadcasting EAMs. So they check into the Hfgcs, which metaphorically is kind of like logging on or checking into work for the day. And when you kind of say, well, who would be logging on right now? The planes on the left and right of this map have been up in the air for a while, so they're probably not going to be checking in only now. These planes in orange and in gray are grounded, so they're not taking off right now, and that's just the altitude bar on the bottom there that tells you what the colors mean. Rough 1-1, I've said before, that is a training call sign I've seen tons of times, so it's kind of circumstantial. And there are ways to verify if you happen to be near these planes when they broadcast things, because they will broadcast additional things on unique frequencies, and that's how you know they're near you, and then you can narrow it down even more. But this is the plane that just checked in, most likely, and it was using the call sign last man. They have their own call signs that change every day, and it doesn't match the call sign that they use for these flight radars. So even though we see Esther 08 right here, it's going to be last man on the radio today. And those are both random. So that process there where they kind of do this password thing, I give you 3 characters, and he's talking with a ground station. I'm going to give you 3 characters, you give me the 4th, and then they'll do the opposite, and that's so that both people verify they're talking to the right person. Once that's done, he's checked in. Now the big question, why did we just hear them ask real world or exercise? Well, the only time I hear them ask that question is during times that I think an exercise is going on. So this pretty much is, it's a circumstantial confirmation, I guess, but I mean, we also did just hear Skymaster messages, which, again, circumstantial confirmation. There is almost certainly an exercise going on, and bear in mind, I'm someone who's very careful with my words. You guys can probably tell just by the way I will qualify things I say and kind of hold back and change words here and there. I don't believe you can be 100% about a lot of this. I could make a good argument that actually we don't know who's broadcasting, this, that, or the other. I could say, I don't know that this is the plane that just checked into the net. That's a lot of circumstantial evidence. So when I guess I'm just saying, in terms of the language I use, it's not because I'm not sure. It's just because I don't want to give anyone in the audience the impression that I know more than I do. So this is how I've figured things out. And when I talk about things, it's because something that I think is the case, I listen to the radio for several months, and then I'll say, I haven't been able to disprove this, and it seems like a fairly compelling narrative. So that's most of what we're going to hear tonight. When they ask real world or exercise during a time I think there's an exercise happening, that tells me there is an exercise happening. Now, why did he just say real world? And I haven't looked at the chat box in a little bit, but I'm going to look at it right now. I'm sure you guys are panicking. There are 2 possible explanations, and I may be about to get interrupted by a message on the radio. If you see on the far left thing, and you may have heard in the background that little click of a mic. So I may get interrupted here. 2 possible answers for why he said exercise. Or sorry, why he said real world. One reason, he's part of the exercise, but as far as he knows right now, it's still a real world. And he as an individual may have some suspicions, this isn't quite real. But when he's asked that on the radio, he's going to say real world. The other answer is he's not involved in the Skymaster event that's going on. He's got his own routine thing to do, pre-assigned, and he's not anything to do with it, so he's going to say a real world. So in neither situation here am I going to tell you that this means, the Skymaster thing is real, and the things that other channels are telling you, that the Defcon status has changed or things like that, are real. Oh, and I've got a potential timeout here on this SDR. We're going to close these things because I don't want to get timed out. And some entertaining comments in the chat box here. I like these. These are funny. Mystical Stab Artists. They broadcast EAMs constantly, right? No, sir, I did not know. I've been tuned to the Hfgcs on and off since January of 2022. I've been listening to, 472-48992-11751-5016. You're telling me they broadcast EAMs a lot? I had no idea. I didn't know that. This channel is literally about EAMs. You may have come across this from the algorithm, and this is your first time being introduced to me. I only listen to the Hfgcs, and, attempt to monitor flight traffic. I have not put out a video, you know, this year about what's going on in the Middle East or what's going on in Russia or what's going on in Ukraine. And I've almost never done a video like that. That's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the radio. I'm interested in unique EAMs and strange radio broadcasts, and that's what's going on. And I've been doing that for a while. I've got lots of videos. I am a Leaf. I'm not going to confirm or deny. I will say I support the day of the rake, so hope that acknowledges your comments there. Thank you, Mystical Stab Artist. By chance, sir, are you from SKG? Let's see what else is going on. Randy Savage could just be moving the plane to the west coast, so yeah, that plane sounds like he's potentially not involved in the Skymaster exercise at all. All right, we've got some clown face emojis. Zach commenting, Defcon 2 is now. Yeah, I don't think so. Scott767300, do I ever monitor Hfgcs on hard radios instead of SDR? I don't. I think it's probably more valuable. Got some noise going on. I don't know if you guys can hear it in the background there. Let's take a look what's going on here. Okay. We've got some noise. I think that was too much noise with that SDR. So we're going to change. All right, this one is located in Saskatchewan, Canada, which is, again, Western Canada, but actually more central. Pretty boring place in the world. Yeah, I don't know why I would necessarily use a hard radio when, I can pull up a website like, again, rx.linkfanel.net and access radios all around the world. Probably set up by people with more experience doing it than me. I am going to eventually look into a shortwave radio because I do think in the odd scenario where something does happen, and the preppers of the world are proven right, it would be ironic for the guy who's been monitoring shortwave radio for the last 2 years is suddenly useless and cannot access the shortwave radio. A comment from Cobalt, which is incorrect. So Cobalt is claiming they do not broadcast training exercises on EAM channels. If you just tuned in, you would have missed the part of the stream where that was completely proven incorrect. And by the way, the Swiller moderating tonight, thank you very much. If you see anyone, stating things that are not true as absolute fact, you have my permission to time them out for 24 hours. This is going to be a long night, potentially, and I don't want to burn my energy out and attention on people who are stating incorrect facts as well, incorrect things as fact. Questions from folks, always welcome. Always, always, always welcome. But if you say something that is not true, I don't have the energy for it tonight. I'm very sorry. This is not my full-time job. I can't hack it. What else have we got going? Blake Smith's Gaming Blitz recommends look into the WOW signal if you like this stuff. Yeah, I'm familiar with the WOW signal, so for anyone who doesn't know, NASA once found a radio signal in space they could not explain. Larry the Lobster, how often are Sky King and Skymasters broadcast? Are they rare? Followed up by Merle Dixon's, have you heard any Sky Kings? So Skymaster messages, in terms of how many, like sheer quantity, I think tonight we've heard I'll pull up the same thing that you guys can access. This is a forum, hfunderground.com. I haven't been transcribing the messages as we hear them in real time, but just tonight we've heard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 4-item messages for Skymaster. So when they happen, they can happen a lot. How often do they happen? Previous estimates I've given somewhere between 6 to 10 times a year. They're not quite monthly as far as I have been able to piece together from looking through historical monitoring of Skymaster events. But this is already this year the 4th time of the year we've had one. And the previous ones were January, I've already forgotten. It was either January 11th or 12th, February 7th, April 12th last week, and April 18th today. So, and in terms of all of those, just to let you guys know, and this is something you will want to peruse through this channel to understand, I was able to anticipate the January 11th exercise. The February 7th exercise, I said it would either be January 31st or February 7th. And I gave myself a little bit of wiggle room. You know, I said either the day before, the day of, the day before, or the day after, because this is pretty much only the second or third time I'm now kind of attempting to quote unquote predict them. So that one I kind of consider a hit. I didn't monitor it, unfortunately, because it occurred while I was asleep. Like, it began while I was asleep. If it began while I was still awake, I would have pulled an all-nighter, but, you know. And for April, I was saying kind of in forum posts and on this channel, something's probably going to happen this month, but I'm not even going to take a stab at what day it will be. April 12th, we kind of were able to tell what was going on the 9th and the 10th. And do I have the date right? Was it April 11th or 12th? It was certainly last week, and then on this channel it's documented correctly. I'm just wondering, am I now kind of tripping over my words? Yeah, it was on April 12th. And then for this week, I kind of said, you know, we did a live stream 3 days ago. And I said, you know, something will probably happen this week, but I'm not even going to take a stab at a guess. As it says on the video live stream screen for you right now, yesterday we had YouTube account PDGLS hop into the chat box and say there's some flight space reservations that could line up with a Skymaster exercise. And at the top of this stream, I would say, you know, I didn't quite anticipate it, but now that it's happening, certainly Skymaster events tend to happen on Wednesdays. And I was expecting one this week, so, you know, 2 and 2 together, plus PDGLS saying a good chance of one today doesn't surprise me. Hindsight is 2020, though. A comment about, oh, sorry, there was another question from the ones I was just talking about. So that's the frequency of Skymasters, and I kind of added there's a bit of context again for, you know, are these things kind of out of thin air? Are you able to see them coming? You're kind of able to see them coming. Sky Kings, so I've been monitoring the HFGCS on and off for the last 2 years. Last week was the first time I heard Sky King broadcast on the HFGCS. And I think the reason we haven't heard Skymaster messages very much in the last 2 years is because they've probably moved from shortwave radio to another communication system, most likely like satellite communications. Now, it's my own personal speculation. I don't have anything to back this up, but from reading some thoughtful posts and commentary on a Usenet group, we're seeing the US military kind of maneuver itself to realize, you know, the material conditions of geopolitics have changed in the last few years. And when I say that, that does not mean, you know, tonight or on any individual day, there's activity on the HFGCS that, for example, as people are speculating, indicates a change in Defcon. I'm talking more about the bigger picture. We're seeing E6s do, these laps and these broadcasts of EAMs more often than they used to some years ago. So, and that change in paces began before I started monitoring, so it feels normal to me. But people who have done this a lot longer and actually know what they're talking about. There has been a gradual increase in activity again. So along the same lines, I think Skymaster may have moved to another satellite communication system, but the military is probably realizing the importance of the Hfgcs as kind of a contingency or key element of certain things they do. So it would not surprise me if over the next few years, I do begin to hear, well, next few years if I'm still doing this, we begin to hear Skykings more and more. So even though I've only heard one in the last 2 years, I wouldn't be surprised if I hear, two next year, maybe three the year after that, and then just a slow build up. At some point, there will kind of be an uptick to, 10 or 20 a year or something, but, and I could be wrong about that. A comment from the Swiller, we may now lower the thresholds for commentary, and I'm going to pause to do that actually, because I do want folks to have an opportunity to ask questions, and if someone is available to co-moderate with me, I want to do that. And again, the rule here, folks, if you've got questions about stuff, you are welcome to ask them. But if you come in here guns blazing and you say simply stuff that's not true, and I take no pleasure in it, because if I had all the time in the day, I would be happy to, attempt to engage with people who believe this, that, or the other. Let's see how we're doing. So actually, for this stream, anyone can comment. So that's kind of silly. I'm going to actually increase the threshold for commenting in this thing just to subscribers. All right, what else have we got? Comment from West 11 Bravo. They absolutely use all EAM frequencies for training and real ops. So yeah, that's more in line with, the things we've heard on these frequencies historically. A comment from Andrew Spearman. I live near Offutt. Nothing of note going on here. So yeah, let's take a look at the map again, just for folks who don't necessarily have the Air Force bases memorized. There are a number of key aircraft at Offutt Air Force Base right now, but they are grounded. They have been grounded for a while, and so far no indication that they're moving. And for those interested, the map that I'm using is a site called adsbexchange.com. As far as filtering for specific military aircraft, I'll get back to that in a moment, but this is only now looking at the US military's E4 and E6s. These are important planes in terms of the context of what this channel does, which is monitor the Hfgcs and EAMs. But I will take a moment to kind of zoom out the map and go through this in more detail later. A question from Spiritual Vortex. Can you tell me what this is like? Like I'm 5 years old, please. I'm not going to be able to do it during this stream because I'm kind of juggling a mix of people who have both heard all of this before, the regular viewers, and also folks who are tuning in for the first time. So I can't quite go that low on the level, but I'll continue to mention. Pinned at the top of the chat box, there's a video called Skymaster Information. The video is pretty much lecture sized, so just under 50 minutes. And I go through both this channel, why I got into this, which ties into a later question I see in the chat box, the monitoring of U.S. military radio, how long I've been doing it, what are some of the observations I've made, and that's kind of the first 27 minutes or so, and then the last portion of that video, I talk about Skymaster in more detail, and I think that's pitched at a very introductory level. And if there actually is some part of that video that you feel is at too high of a level, please let me know, because I would like to eventually remake that video and kind of pitch it and market it more broadly as kind of this is the video to watch if you're coming to this channel for the first time. But it's not going to, when I make a a new version, it's not going to differ too much from that one anyways, so you can take a look at that. A question from Podcast Fan. What's the next in the order of magnitude from Sky King? Yeah, that's a great question. I would love to know. I did some looking online because I found quite a few posts where people said the next thing in order of magnitude is if you ever hear the call sign snowfall. And the post was that oh right, snowfall kind of relates to nuclear winter, and there was one point I actually heard the call sign snowfall being used just like for routine traffic, and nothing happened. This is an important comment, and I can't pull these up on the screen. Can I? Yes, I can. No, I can't. It'll be too complex. Shattered Dreams has a correction for me that NASA did not detect the WOW signal, and that we need to go ahead and time me out because I'm stating things that are incorrect as fact. So let's take a look. Oh my gosh. The WOW signal was detected by Ohio State University. Does this NASA is not even mentioned in this entire article. So yeah, I don't want to be a hypocrite, you guys. If someone comes on this channel and states things that are not true, we're going to go ahead and time them out for 24 hours. So the rest of this stream is going to just be quiet little. We're just going to watch the SDRs. No, I profusely apologize for that. Thank you very much for bringing that up. Just for practical purposes, I cannot time myself out because I'm the main person. I have diplomatic immunity. We've got some commentary. Folks are tuning in from other streams that are saying we're at Defcon 2 and making much ado of tonight's events. If this is World War III, this is quite boring, isn't it? Let me go ahead and pull something up, guys. And this was something we talked about during a stream earlier this week. Not that. I want to pull that up. So this is my Twitter, twitter.com/neatintel, and I'm just going to search something up for you. This wasn't something I found myself. This is actually the user ReadDA on Twitter had a comment for me, and he was the one that was reading through transcriptions released as part of the 9/11 Commission, so where the U.S. military and government and possibly others were just kind of reviewing what exactly happened on 9/11. Was everything kind of above board? Because we do have these strange things, lots of things going on. And I'm talking very slowly and being like, do I need to walk this back? Because what if I have someone who hops in the chat box and just like I got schooled on the WOW signal not being caught by NASA. Maybe I don't quite have the details of the 9/11 Commission right. Nonetheless, this is one of the transcripts released as part of that. And we see here, and you can read, the PDF is available online for people who want the full context, but we see people, from NORAD and whatever, all these military guys meeting on the day of September 11th, 2001, an EAM was broadcast at 14:52 Universal Coordinated Time. And it was a emergency action message directing worldwide DEFCON 3. If you guys can read that at the bottom. So this was the DEFCON status on September 11th, 2001. You had, commercial airliners flying into the New York skyline, colliding with buildings, and there was good reason to suspect that this was a deliberate attack. Obviously, we know in retrospect that it was, but at the time it wasn't obvious. And they elevated to Defcon 3. So if there was something motivating an elevation to Defcon 2, it would be in the news, guys. Okay, you would not be watching me anymore because you would have, what's that guy's name? Wolf Blitzer would be staring at you with that spooky face of his on CNN. I know a lot of you guys don't like CNN, but I don't like CNN either. But I'm just giving an example. Like conventional media would be telling us what's going on, and we'd have to listen. There he is. He'd be telling you what's up. The Associated Press, take your pick. We do live in interesting times. So when breaking news happens, you're going to hear about it on the internet. You're going to read it on Twitter. You'll watch it on YouTube before the conventional media gets to it. But this guy's going to get there. Like he's not down and out. So, we are well 2 hours into this. Let's pull up the Associated Press. And maybe we can do that without revealing my past search history in the suggestions bar there. Associated Press, what's going on? Front page is just, the stuff going on with the US government. Maybe that's more important than DEFCON 2 or something motivating a DEFCON 2. My point is, you scroll through this, there is nothing of the same magnitude as September 11th, 2001. And, DEFCON 2 is a bigger deal than DEFCON 3, right? Do I have that right? I don't remember the DEFCON order, but I would think it would be in the news, okay? So, heaven's sakes, why do I have the Associated Press map on the screen? I'm not trying to dox the Associated Press. The other part of this, just while we've got this transcription open. Yeah, just more talking about, the EAM scrambling Air Force One. Again, that was September 11th, 2001. That was how the US government responded to what they considered a major threat on their, domestic territory. So, I don't see anything happening along those lines. Up north, sir, thank you. As well as welcome to Redneck Stamp. Thank you, both of you, for your gifting of channel memberships. That is awesome. You guys have been doing contributions for the past week and change. Very much appreciated. All right, what else do we have going? That's kind of a tangent. Scott has a question. Do they ever go to discrete frequencies to read EAMs after communications are established? Yes, they do in certain contexts, but you will usually hear them establish that on the primary frequencies. So you'll hear them, broadcast on main frequencies and then ask to hop over to those discrete frequencies. Although sometimes there are times they just hop straight to the discrete frequencies. Without any prelude. And they get away with that, at least as far as the monitoring of this channel. I don't have the ability at this time to monitor 20 or 30 of these. Thomas, or sorry, welcome to Redneck Stand. You were asking, do they use the TACAMO frequencies anymore? So TACAMO stands for take charge and move out, I believe. They recycle a lot of the frequencies. Sometimes the designators change and things like that, so they may well be reusing some of them. Some of them fix, some of them change. If you've got specific frequencies, let me know, and I can tell you, as far as I know, that its current status. And we'll take a look at a list of some frequencies later on. One thing I want to look at before I go through more questions with you guys. So I mentioned with the flight map, we've been looking at this one for a while, and this one's just filtered by the aircraft I'm interested in. But what we're going to do now is just filter That didn't work. Okay, there we go. So that's all the aircraft right now, but I just want military aircraft. Oops. So over the United States right now, we have 193 U.S. military aircraft, just kind of in this thing. Or sorry, these are not all American. There we go. So I've zoomed out to include Florida. 196 U.S. military aircraft on screen right now. I'm sure people will ask about this. We also have some military aircraft over Europe. This is pretty routine for that to be the case. I can't comment to you about these specific aircraft at this time. I'm not familiar, and the things that I don't know about, I can't tell you what's not normal if I don't know what's normal. So I can tell you generally, I'm not surprised to see U.S. military aircraft above Europe. This reach plane will often kind of do these flights from North America to Europe and back and forth, sometimes to Asia, I believe. They may use another call sign for that, I'm not sure. That is a strato tanker, so that is a refueler. Please correct me if I'm wrong. 2 refuelers in a row, so that's something. There's another refueler, so those are those planes. U.S. military aircraft above Japan, nothing unusual there. That is why with the SDRs, I do have this one in Korea, hoping to maybe pick something up, but it's looking not very likely. Now, this flight radar that we've been looking at does not catch all U.S. military aircraft, so I don't think we're seeing any B-52s right now showing up, which does not mean that they're not in the air. It just means that this radar is not picking them up. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I wanted to show you guys kind of the big picture. How's U.S. military aircraft looking right now? Now, just to tell you, all U.S. aircraft in the air at this point right now, we're hovering around, according to this site, 188, 189 here. And again, that's going to be your minimum. Some of these maybe have landed, but we know there's also more aircraft this is not capturing. I believed I answered this question, but just in case, Thomas asked what type of radio can pick up these channels, so the answer there, shortwave radio. Merle Dog is asking, so if we had a situation, I don't think you can use certain words on YouTube live streams without risking demonetization, so, in a situation, would they not use shortwave? Would they use satellites instead? They'd probably use a mix, but I would posit to you they probably want to make sure that they continue to use shortwave radio because even this year there was kind of a kerfuffle. I don't remember the exact details, but someone in the government was demanding that this confidential piece of information was released to the general public because they thought it was very important the public knew about this. And I think it was just that Russia can potentially blow up satellites in space or something like that. Um, I don't know if I've got the details on that right. Let me know in the chat box. But certainly that would be a threat at any point. Shortwave radio is more resilient, I guess, is a good way of putting it. So they may prefer satellite, but they would never want to abandon shortwave. In a post-nuclear environment, for example, we know the ionosphere would recover fairly quickly and shortwave radio would be operable in a relative period of time. J Projects helped out with answering one of the questions that I kind of gave a superficial response to earlier about the use of discrete frequencies. What else have we got? Whiskey Tango asks, where is anyone getting this Defcon 2 information? I don't know. I don't know if they're getting that information from anywhere or if they are engaging with the YouTube algorithm in creative ways. George Doherty, sorry, I don't believe I've said your last name correctly. I apologize for that. George Dowdy. Please let me know in the chat how to pronounce that. I apologize. I don't believe I'm saying that right. Is this a planned event or is this actually some sort of strategy movement? Nothing is precluding it from being both. But as I've kind of posited a few times during this stream and throughout the history of this channel, something like this seems to occur around the same time each year, a few times during the year. So this is not an annual thing, but a few times during the year, and they're all kind of, for example, you've got, one early in January, one at the end of January, start of February. That happened in 2023. That's happening again this year in 2024. And we've got the same thing now happening in April. Last year, there were 2 instances of Skymaster events, 2 separate days. And this year, April 2024, we had a Skymaster event April 12th, and now again, April 18th, technically. I may have been saying 17th here and there because I'm kind of looking at the clock that I have on a desk. But what am I saying? What day is it? In terms of the Universal Coordinated Time, it is now April 18th. A question about CNN that I can't comment on. And thank you guys for clarifying. Yes, Defcon 1 is bad. So the lower numbers are bad, which is quite goofy. Scott, thought the military changed to a color defense condition scheme. Do I have this wrong? I'm not sure. That sounds vaguely familiar, but I can just tell you that we are not. Well, I can't tell you, right? Like, I don't know that we're not at DEFCON 2, but I can give you examples of other times we were at other DEFCONs that seemed more significant, so I don't know why it would be worse. Oh, and a follow-up to an earlier question, so welcome to Redneck Stan is wondering, with 2 specific frequencies, the current use of 6697 and 13155 kilohertz. So I'll take this opportunity just to show you guys. I don't actively promote it, although I've been mentioning it a lot the last week or so. We do have a Discord for monitoring Skymaster events, so we'll throw this on screen briefly. I have to make sure that I have this cropped correctly so that any confidential information, because I do have some other stuff going on Discord. Which, by the way, I don't like Discord. But it's commonly used, so who am I to try and fight the masses? Okay, it showed up on screen anyway, so that's interesting. I thought I was hiding it. This is the Jiang Wanyang Skymaster Surveillance Committee. I set it up this year in anticipation of the January Skymaster event. And there is a general activity channel, but there are also these channels on the side where I give you some lists of various frequencies. I give you summaries of recent Skymaster events. This is all redundant to information on this channel and on the Twitter. So if you do not like Discord, like I do not like Discord, you don't necessarily have to join this server to get that information. It's just organized a little bit better, I guess. As you guys can see, I've been too busy to document last week's Skymaster, but just to show you. So the frequencies that we know are being used at this time because we've heard it These are the primary HFGCS frequencies. In March of this year, I confirmed for myself at least one discrete frequency being used for like test counts and EAMs. And also found a list of other frequencies here. And this frequency was on there, so I successfully identified at least one of them on this list, so I would assume there's a good chance that these other ones are also in use. Some of the other frequencies in use right now, these are used for E6 to E6 communications. The main one being active as of, well, the last year or so is 9031. I'm not sure the other ones are being used at all right now. And there are some other frequencies here. Let's see, your specific questions were 6697. Okay, I don't have that pulling anything up. And the other one you asked me about, 13155. So I get a result for that one, but that's someone posting a transcription from like the 90s, early 2000s. So I don't know if those are still in use. I can't confirm for you having heard any activity on those or any leads at this time along those lines. Lots of other information on this server for folks who are interested, and these will, some of this I haven't had an opportunity, this info dumps channel, to make videos about. A lot of them I'd like to, but this should all be on Twitter. And something about 8888 messages. Those are a different kind of message broadcast on the HFGCS. So that Discord, if there's anyone who's in that Discord and in the chat box right now, if you guys want to drop a link, that's great. If not, links to that are available through the twitter.com/neatintel. Southpod, is it equally they launched Defcon 2 and not tell us to prevent panic? We saw in Ukraine they were denying a possible attack up until the day before. Well, they wouldn't tell the general public the Defcon status anyways. I would just suggest if on September 11th, we know from transcripts released after the fact that we were on that day at Defcon 2, that was an instance where, you know, this happened because of huge breaking news. So I don't know, like, everyone knew what happened on that day, right? I feel like if we were at Defcon 2, there's no way you could kind of keep that secret. Some questions here just about the operation of the radio. I don't know if I'll have time to speak to here, but if you want to try asking those again, I'll take a second look at them, so we'll see how the night goes. Charles Wetzel's comment, most likely heightened alert due to statements from Netanyahu. I don't know, that could well be, but I would suggest that would not be related to what we're hearing today. Some clarification on the U.S. military aircraft in the chat box here that we were looking at earlier. Thank you very much. Tom R., thank you for your service. I feel like you are legit and have an honest desire to only deliver the truth. The other thing I have a desire to talk to you guys about, let's see if I can pull this up to you right now. So this is a big deal. In addition to, you know, sharing what I think is important things with you guys. Oh, and we have some flight activity as I pull up this map, but I talked about this last week. This is really important. I want to talk about it again. These E6s tend to fly in certain areas, so they, you know, they have these routine flight paths above the Pacific and Atlantic Ocean. But as you can see, when you have this map zoomed in at, like, you know, regular so that you can see everything, you won't notice this. And even when you zoom in, you won't notice it. You really have to zoom in, and that's when, like, these secret things will pop up on the map. So for example, this one, Northeast Canyons and Seamounts Marine National Monument. So that's where this E6 is flying. Let's take a look at the one over the Atlantic right now. If you zoom in, if you zoom in, if you zoom, Okay, nothing is popping up, so I'm just gonna fudge this because I'm trying to prove a point. And the thing about proving points that don't make sense is you have to fudge things and just contrive evidence to prove. See how close that plane is to another marine sanctuary? So these marine sanctuaries, you probably see them on the map and you think, oh, that's nice. The government is like preserving the corals or whatever. No, sir. The reason these E6s fly above them is because those are the location of secret underwater military bases. And I'm getting the word out on those because another thing that we found out from a Twitter account a couple weeks ago is that these aren't just secret underwater military bases. These are actually capable of moving around because one day someone took a screenshot on Google Maps of one of these secret military bases, and the next day it wasn't there anymore, so they couldn't take a screenshot to prove it again, and that's just proof that the bases can move. Another thing this channel is about, Korean pop music. So lately, I've been telling my audience about a group called Triple S. They're great. Please check them out. If you have any questions about K-pop or Triple S, I am happy to field those in the chat box. But thank you for your comment that I'm only interested in delivering the truth. I am also interested in delivering other things. Mystical Stab Artist comments fake news. I can assure you that everything that you are going to hear on this stream tonight has been fact-checked by real American patriots, sir. Todd's comment is that someone is saying it's Defcon 2 because they only give Sky King Skymaster messages at Defcon 2. Nothing to support that. Lord knows I have been looking for information on Sky King and Skymaster messages. I've found nothing along those lines, so I hate to be that guy, but source, not you, but just to the other channels that are saying that, like, source, please. Monumentus Mind, either something from ChatGPT or maybe just found online a comment that the highest DEFCON level ever reached was DEFCON 2 during the Cuban Missile Crisis. So that is probably still the case. Four Fingers is comment. Please everyone like, comment, subscribe, and share everywhere. Yeah, everything on this channel is for free. This stream is running some advertisements. The channel did become monetized last week, so you may have some ads popping up here and there, and that's just to subsidize putting other stuff off to kind of bring this to you live. Again, I don't do this full time, so it's, putting other things off to do it. Happy to do it, but yeah. I do accept financial support for the channel, but I do not paywall anything. I don't think it makes sense to paywall publicly accessible radio broadcasts. I don't think it makes sense to paywall me commenting on a flight radar map when I, have to tell you guys this is just my novice level interpretation, and I don't have any, strong insights there. I just quickly wanted to note we do have another E6 taking off. Ascon 04 is its current call sign, and it's already at 8,000 feet. And I noticed it took off from Naval Air Station, Patuxent River, which is in Lexington Park. Oops, I think I just broke the stream. Let's make sure that's still running. Perfect. And he's taking a very similar path. And one thing I want to do now, and I think I'll show this to you guys instead of just hopping over to it immediately. But there is a website called rx.linkfunnel.net. I've mentioned it earlier, and this is how you can pull up these SDRs. And I want one in particular that is in Washington. So this one, I'm gonna copy the link because I actually want it up on screen with all the other ones. Right split. And just to economize our space, I'm going to shut down the Korean stream because we don't have any action there. We may come back to it later. So this Washington one is quite good, but as we can see, it is full up right now. to hold it in the background or something. So there's only so many users that can be on these at a time, and that's just to economize the bandwidth of the people who run them. They, like I do, they provide their stuff for free. These guys don't even run ads or anything, so total public service what they're doing there. And this stream on the right is, oh, it's freezing, but it's still running. Let's just, because with that Washington one could take a while, see if there is maybe one more stream we can pull up here. Connecticut, I think I've used this one in the past. Nope, that one is full. Would not surprise me if people are kind of picking up what's going on and are hopping up to all these SDRs, and it might be harder to find a slot. But I do want to grab one on the East Coast, because those ones that are east of New York right now may be broadcasting and we're just missing it. But no messages from the ground station in a bit. No Sky King messages, or Skymaster messages, pardon me, in a bit. And as I mentioned, what happened in January, this is something. Hello. It might have been something. We'll see how it goes. All right, so we're going to keep an eye on that stream as well. Cam had a question. Where is the Discord link? So if no one has dropped a Discord link yet, let me just... Okay, I can't because it's in streaming mode. Streaming mode on Discord is some goofy thing where it basically locks everything down. I cannot drop a link right now. Duchess has a very complex multi-level question. I'm going to leave that one to the side because it's about a lot of stuff that is outside the purview of this channel. Just gotta turn the squelch up on this one. Josh Spurlock, you've got a high-end question here. What exactly is a Skymaster event? So I've got a pinned video in the chat box right now, the very first link. That's a lot to go through, and I've already kind of given a spiel to the general audience, but that's the video to check out if you're interested. It does last about 48 minutes, but you can play that, at 1.5 times speed and it should still be audible. Scott's question about the use of 8992 versus 11175. Do I ever notice it is used more than do I ever notice one that is used more than another during daytime at certain transmitter locations? Yes, I have. I haven't done the best job of documenting that, but I've kind of developed a bit of a knack for figuring out who's using which frequencies when. For EAMs, though, like for the messages that I broadcast on a day-to-day, it doesn't quite matter. If you're tuned to 8992 and you don't hear a message simulcast, let's say you have 8992 on one thing in 11175. Sometimes it will happen. You'll only hear something on 11175 and you can tell it's not being broadcast on 8992 at all. They will actually follow up a few minutes later and broadcast it on 8992. But most of the time, and I won't say like what percent of the time, I'll just give you a general most of the time. Most of the time you're going to hear them using it at the same time. Things like radio checks, though, from aircraft, those guys will actually prefer those frequencies one over another at certain times of day for obvious reasons. And that you can miss if you're tuned into one and not another. Looking up is commenting 911 service down in multiple states. Sorry, 911 service down in multiple states. I am not going to be a channel that can confirm that for you. That involves some stuff, but I would just, look, that doesn't sound related. I'll leave it at that. Just to let you guys know, the way this chat box is working for me through the streaming app, if I miss your question, just please ask it again. If you feel like it is a question that I would be able to speak to. what I'm going to do now is just take a short... I'm going to take a short break. This stream kind of popped up on me. I wasn't quite expecting it, so I've got to take care of some errands. I promise I will be back at the... at 0300. Let me just quickly change the description here in the box. I just need 5 minutes here, folks, to take a quick breather, I guess, and take care of some stuff.
Last caller, this is Dexterity, please say your last over. Dexterity, please say your last over. Last caller, this is Dexterity, real world or exercise. I say real world or, say again, is this real world or exercise? Over. Last caller, this is Dexterity, I have you 4x4, I have you 4x4, over. And Dexterity, going on campus.
Sigonella on 8992. Please say your last. Hard copy, over. Main sail, this is Bachelor on 8992. How's copy my station, over? Bachelor, this is Dexterity, I have you, Lima Charlie, how me, over? Main sail, this is Bachelor, I have you, Lima Charlie, as well. To the net time, over. Bachelor, this is Dexterity. I request you authenticate Alpha Charlie Sierra. I say again, Alpha Charlie Sierra. I'll copy, over. Main sail, this is Bachelor. Authenticate Alpha Charlie Sierra with November. Again, I authenticate Alpha Charlie Sierra with November. If correct, I request you authenticate Bravo Charlie. Again, if correct, I request you authenticate Bravo Charlie. I'll copy, over.
Okay, folks, I'm back from my break here. It looks like I missed the start of a plane checking into the net right now, and I've just heard the tail end of that last one. Sound like call sign Bachelor?
Bachelor, this is Dexterity. I authenticate Bravo Charlie with the whiskey. I say again, Bravo Charlie with the whiskey. If correct, I have you exiting the net at 0303 Zulu. Hard copy my station, over. Main sail, Bachelor, you have the net at 000. I say you have 0303 Zulu.
So if you guys remember earlier in the stream, we heard another plane checking into the net. And my guess, was that it was this plane because around the time it checked into the net, it had taken off. I don't know. We didn't narrow down the time exactly, but sometime in the last half hour or so. Something similar here. I think shortly before I took that 5-minute break, I noted this plane had taken off relatively recently. And towards the tail end of the communications that we just heard, I tuned 3 receivers to 8992 kilohertz. Now this one here, it's all black because this specific receiver doesn't want people to use it for that frequency. So it's blocked that out. Basically, it doesn't like when you have they don't like when a lot of people just band on and tune to 8992 and use up their bandwidth. So they block that one. This one is located in Saskatchewan, Canada, which is kind of the middle of the country geographically. I was about to like type map into Google, but Saskatchewan is one of these boring provinces here. It's this one. It's above Montana and North Dakota. So that kind of gives you there, and you should have been able to tell with the SDR on the far. Could you guys see the map? I don't think I had it up on screen. Saskatchewan is here, so it's above North Dakota and Montana. And with the SDRs that I had on screen at the end, when I tuned them all to 8992, you may have been able to tell this one on the left had a very weak signal. It's off the screen now, unfortunately, but if you rewind, you may catch the tail end. That was quite weak, whereas this one located in North Carolina was picking up a fair amount better. Now, with shortwave radio reception, there's a lot of factors that can affect reception. Geography is hardly the only one, but it gives you a rough idea. So the reason we're talking about that is just to, I guess, reaffirm our suspicion, my suspicion that this was probably the plane that just checked into the net. And we have people who are tuning in and they weren't familiar with any of that. Briefly speaking, these planes need to check into the net. It's like logging on to the radio to broadcast messages. And if you're interested in knowing about that in more detail, I talked about it more earlier in the stream, and there's certainly other videos on this channel where I've talked about that a little bit more. I may have lost track of where I was in terms of people's questions. There's a good one from Marty. Is mainsail now using dexterity as its call sign? So the question, the way you've asked it, is not quite right. But for your purposes tonight, that's close enough. A couple important things here. So I guess during that checkout conversation while I was on break, we heard the same thing we heard during the previous thing where they asked, is this real world or exercise? So I need to answer that, but do I have that backwards? Was that a checking in or checking out conversation? Because we have a comment in the chat from Shattered Dreams saying that was actually Bachelor checking out. So if that's the case, then that probably is not that plane, and we'd have to be reevaluating to see what other plane it could be, but I don't quite have any other guesses at this time, so. Bachelor was checking out, so a few of you guys are saying that now. Okay, and the header is wrong. Thanks for that. The question that you guys would have heard on the radio. Mystical Stab Artist, I'm going to censor you for that because that's going to tank me in the algorithm. Can you... I'm going to remove that comment. Certain things you just can't say in live streams because it tanks it on the algorithm. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, it was a checkout. We have updated the stream title. No, I don't want that. A lot to hop through for you guys. Just to recap, that was the second time today. If that was indeed the case, that we heard an operator ask them real world or exercise, and there's a lot there. I'm gonna guess, without having an opportunity to rewind and double check, they probably said real world again. And that doesn't necessarily mean that everything else that is going on tonight and that we're hearing is now real and that it's not a drill. It could very well mean that that person is working on something separately, so they're working on something real as part of their routine day-to-day, and whoever's involved in the exercise is still involved in the exercise. Oops. How do I throw that down now just to go back to the SDRs? Looks like one of them is frozen. So this SDR I mentioned, sometimes it doesn't like people using it for a long time, so we're going to hop off and see if we can find another one in a similar location. So North Carolina on your far right. Well, not furthest right, because one is in Europe on the actual screen, all the way to the right. That one's in Europe. This one's in North Carolina. This one is in Washington, Washington. So not Washington, D.C., but proper Washington. And this one is in central Canada. And we're just going to throw that one to 11175 as well. Unless there's too much noise on it. Nope, there's too much noise on it, so we're going to throw it back to 8992. So these two 8992, okay, this SDR is terrible as I tune it. We're going to pick a different one. I like this one in Nevada. Nevada. This one in Nevada is full. I've not tried these ones in Alaska. I'm going to throw this one in Alaska because if you guys saw the information from the Discord, we actually know one of the so-called secret frequencies being used in Alaska. I'm going to pull it up in the background just a moment here. 1056. We'll try it. And we'll be changing these SDRs throughout the night. But 3 different locations, 3 different frequencies. And we also have 2 streams running in parallel right now on this channel. If you go to the Neat Intel main page, you're going to see this stream where I'm doing commentary, showing you guys a lot of stuff on map. That is not how this channel usually runs. What it usually runs is boring, minimal to no commentary, 24 hours a day, a recording of the US Hfgcs just to capture EAM and other traffic, get an idea of what's going on there so that people who are interested in, what's typical, what's normal, what's not. I have footage of live streams going back several months on this channel. I have daily recordings from 2022 and 2023. And since then, I've done since January 2023 when I stopped that. I then kind of replaced it with individual recordings and all kinds of stuff. So lots of content for you guys to look through there. But yes, there are 2 other streams right now. If you don't want me talking, you're like, who is this Jackanapes? Why is he talking over the messages? I just want to listen to the HFGCS and have that running in the background. 2 other streams available to you, 2 other frequencies, 2 other locations, information on those streams. I am seeing guys, and I'm trying not to comment on other channels too much right now. There's another channel using footage from this. I'm not going to be able to, well, I am going to have to speak to that tonight at some point because realistically, running a YouTube channel isn't just about putting the content out there. It's also about promoting it and then also, I guess, how would you put this? Defending it? I would hope that he is acknowledged. I took a quick look at the video you guys are talking about. You do see my name at the start of the screen, but you don't see the full thing. I'll have a talk with that person, and if they don't engage diplomatically, we will be dealing with that. Sina Veritas, thank you very much for your super chat. In addition to the super chats that we got earlier in the stream from Dat Silencer, the gift memberships from up north, and welcome to Redneckistan. And I also saw in one of the other streams, Tom R. Not sure whether he was gifted it or purchased it. Either way, that one is popping up on stream for me in specific, although there have been a lot tonight. Well, nonetheless, welcome to the channel, sir, if you happen to be around here. Now, give me just a moment here, just to kind of pause and digest what's happened. I've been on transmit for the last 3 hours, but I haven't had an opportunity to really think. I literally, I just need a moment to pause and think and I've given a large context during this stream this evening. I want to zoom in just to what's happened in the last 24 to 48 hours. About, this will be rough. About 30 hours ago, and this is important, this is why it is in text on screen during this whole stream on the right side above the European SDR. A recap that yesterday, we did have PDGLS hop into the 24/7 live stream chat box, and I'm going to throw his YouTube briefly on screen here. I know, and I'm trying to, I'm wondering if this is the best idea because history has taught me with YouTube and some of the other channels that are my peers. Some of you are here to cause trouble, so please don't bother this person. The few of you, it's certainly not the majority of you. So I'm sharing it for the benefit of the majority and politely asking those who are only here to cause trouble, please don't bother this person. PDGLS, they monitor shortwave radio, not just the Hfgcs, but the Hfgcs is something they are interested in, and they do something with a lot more experience and knowledge than I do. So, for example, they also have recordings of Skymaster exercises, but this is not a channel, as far as I know, that will come on and do live commentary for you guys. And I can certainly empathize with why they may not do that, because like I just said a few minutes ago, running a YouTube channel like this, I've quickly learned it's about so much more than just throwing the information out there. You have to promote it. The algorithm won't always help you out. You've got to defend it, because as soon as you get any traction, people will try and snap it all up, and you're dead in the water. And I don't do this full time, but it's not fun when someone tries to just scalp off your content. I don't know that's what's happened tonight. Like I said, I took a quick look at that other video. Anyways, this channel, PDGLS, hopped in and let us know some interesting airspace reservations had been put up, and they corresponded to the airspaces that we're seeing the E6s in right now. So we'll just pull that up again. Some of these E6s. Let's throw this up. So for example, you see the flight path this plane is taking in this kind of constrained box area. That box was reserved over 30 hours ago, roughly around 30 hours ago. Let's put it like that, because I don't remember the exact time. And there's also a reserved airspace here. I don't quite remember where it was, but these guys are most likely in that area. And by the way, as these guys kind of go out over the ocean, this SDR is going to lose track of them. So this plane hasn't updated its location since the last time we looked at it. That's not because it is frozen in air. That is just because this website can't track its location anymore. It's gone too far out from the range of all these antennas located on land. This same thing will probably eventually happen to this one. But this one, at least from a quick glance, looks like it's still being captured. Yeah, we're getting updates about its speed right now, its location. It's small, but if you zoom in, you will see it moving here and there. So that's what happened yesterday. And in context with some things I said last week and earlier this week on the live stream, I thought, there's good odds that there will be something today, but I don't want to run with it because I'm not super sure. But I guess a tip, and this is a very subtle tip, folks who are new to the channel won't necessarily understand this, but folks who have been even here just a week, on my Twitter, I will occasionally do these announcements where I'll kind of say condition yellow, I'm expecting something, but this is kind of a more non-committal. If you look through the branding of this channel, I like using a certain aesthetic thing. The gimmick of this channel is I don't just do the HFGCS, I also do K-pop. So I have Korean girls generated by ChatGPT as the thumbnails for most of these videos, these live streams and recordings of the HFGCS. If you were paying attention, today's video was originally yellow. It's since been updated. It was not an image of a Korean girl because I had a hunch that if something took off, I wanted to make sure that people could share this video with the general audience and they would click and tune in. So That is, I didn't tweet about it. I didn't make a big deal. I did hop on the mic yesterday, but I didn't, announce beyond that. But that was kind of the little tip. I figured, if someone shares these videos on Twitter, they're more likely to click these than they are to click these. So that's my little cheat for today. And if you subscribe to this channel and keep an eye out for the future, um, if you're new to the channel, most of these videos are boring, right? I'm telling you that straight up right now. I do not normally come on the mic and do commentary. This is the second time in about a week. That's just the way the traffic is panned out. But normally there's EAMs, and you find out how many EAMs are broadcast today. Sometimes there's these little quirks. This Sunday we had a quirk about long EAMs being broadcast, and I had to hop on the microphone and say, listen, those long messages are broadcast every few months. You can pretty much predict when they're going to happen. The Skymaster events, you can also predict when they're going to happen, but it is a little bit trickier. And give me one moment here. I've got to take care of something on another screen. Which one is that? So there's certain things you can't say on this YouTube channel. It wasn't said on this stream, it was said on one of the other streams I'm keeping an eye on. It's not because I don't think you can say it, but there are certain words that will tank videos in the algorithm, so I just had to time someone out. Where were we? Not here. But as far as this stream, which was running today, if you look in the last 24 hours, there were 0 messages broadcast April 17th. Now there's some context. There's a lot to talk about there. The main thing, some people who are new to EAMs and the Hfgcs, you may be of the impression that most days there aren't EAMs. There are actually EAMs most days of the week, most weeks of the year. There's just that impression because people don't necessarily make sure to transcribe or record them all days. This channel for the last few years, last couple of years, has on and off been doing exactly that. And I can give you as an example, from June 23rd, 2023 to January 31st, 2024, with a few interruptions, power outages lasting a few hours or something here and there sporadically. It was virtually 24/7 monitoring of the Hfgcs, and there were only 2 days where I thought it doesn't seem like there were any messages and it doesn't seem like I missed them. It just seemed like there were no messages. And those days were September 30th and November 23rd. Sorry, 5 days. I forgot this earlier as well. So 5 days. September 30th, November 23rd, and December 24th, 25th, 26th. By the way, we did hear messages on January 1st, but December 24th, 25th, 26th should probably clue you in. There was still Hfgcs activity, so we heard operators active on the channel. They did do some I think check-ins and check-outs sporadically, some test counts, radio checks, but no EAMs for Christmas and Christmas Eve, or for those of you who observe it, Boxing Day afterwards. The operators got, well, most of them probably got, a 3-day break. November 23rd was the 4th of the 5 days I mentioned. That was Thanksgiving. So most of the time there are no messages. It's pretty easy to explain why and what's going on. September 30th, I hopped onto the microphone earlier to say, I never quite figured out why there were no EAMs on September 30th. Give me a moment here, folks. Okay, for a moment I was worried the stream was dead. So in an approximately 7-month period, there were 5 days with, I can never confirm, right? It's always possible I missed a message, but with the system I set up, all the other days I heard at least one EAM. Those 5 days I didn't hear an EAM. 4 of them I can explain to you by holidays. One of them I cannot. April 17th kind of pushes into the... I can't really explain it. J Projects has helped out in the chat box and said September 30th could relate to the fiscal new year. So the fiscal new year starts on October 1st. It's entirely possible, and I think that was my speculation last year, because as you say that, it's ringing some bells. It could be. It could be. As far as April 17th, I was going to basically frame to you, I have no idea why there are no messages. My guess would be, and this is completely speculation, huge grain of salt, because I would want to see this repeated at least once before I really ran with it. So I'm going to say it once during this stream and never again. If you quote me on it, I'll say, you know, it's a speculation. I think last week was a very busy time for a lot of the folks involved in this. I think the weekend didn't quite slow down for them, so that they didn't really have an opportunity to relax. I think they fit in one day just for everyone to get a breather, because we're about, you know, April 18th was about to continue with more stuff. And that is kind of the context where we come to with today. April 18th. I know for people in North America it's April 17th, but the US military does use the Universal Coordinated Time. They refer to it as Zulu time. It is April 18th, so that's right now, although we will still be referring to it as Wednesday, so it'll get a little bit blurry and confusing. And 5 minutes passed at the start of the day. We heard our first round of Skymaster messages. Now, I've not had an opportunity to transcribe them myself because I've been setting up, you know, these 3 streams and been hopping onto the mic to do commentary for you guys. And I've only taken one breather so far. I'm going to have to take another one in a few minutes. But I want to show you guys a resource mentioned earlier in the stream. We'll throw this up again. The forum hfunderground.com. There's a person called Sigint. They have been posting transcriptions of EAMs. They've been posting transcriptions of Skymaster exercises for... Well, I think they started around the same time I started posting this stuff to YouTube. And this is their set of transcriptions for today's Skymaster broadcasts. And as you can see, they actually at 2 past. So we heard something at 5 past, they heard something at 2 past. But we both heard this Skymaster message at 05. Since then, including that one, we've heard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, sorry, do I have that right? Because the screen jumped a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they've heard 8, I should specify. I assume we've captured all the same traffic they did. They also have another thread for EAMs. So you see this. Now, by the way, I do this too. And I guess I'll throw over to my own YouTube channel again, although it feels weird to refer back again over and over. It's a little bit spotty because I have been on kind of a hiatus, but just for reference, from January 2022 to February 2023 inclusive, the first few videos are only individual message recordings, but it eventually developed into entire days. I would record all the EAMs broadcast that day and put them in these video compilations. I'll just show you a quick example of one without the audio, just so it doesn't echo or anything. You'll see the recordings, you'll see the transcriptions. And by the way, for folks who are new to the channel, because I often get this question, why did I stop doing these? I'll show you quickly. I'm happy to show you guys the analytics tab and etc. Once it loads. So this is a re-upload, so it's not perfectly accurate, but it's not too different from how the original upload worked. people watch these videos just long enough to see the transcriptions of how many messages there were a day, and then the majority tune out. I don't necessarily blame people. If I was audience for this channel, I may do the same thing, but that's why I changed the format a little bit. So if we go back to my channel, I took a hiatus, and when I came back, instead of, doing recordings of all the EAMs, I just did quick time cards. I'm gonna have to mute this because I don't want to get copyright struck. But now you get your transcriptions, and you also get K-pop on the side, because no one's listening to all the EAM recordings anyways. And you look through, and you'll get all the messages a day, and this ran from June 23rd to the end of January of this year. I went on another hiatus, but during this hiatus, I've still been running the live streams, and I've been putting out a couple incidental things here and there. So one for March 29th. This is kind of a joke, but also not. It's kind of an art project in a sense. A K-pop song came out that I really liked, so I'm like, that merits a time card. I also started doing time cards again last week, because we did have all this unusual traffic, and I felt like there's going to be a Skymaster event. I do want to provide some context for that. So I did April 9th, 10th, and 11th. And you can look through those in that history. And just so you guys know, I didn't completely abandon recording messages. So there's another tab on this channel, or another playlist, where I have continued to record messages individually and make those available for people who are interested. The most conspicuous one was uploaded just last week, and I have to take an abrupt break. Just a couple minutes. I will be right back. We'll throw the screens up on it again, and I imagine, like last time, while I'm gone, there will be traffic, so maybe a good luck charm. So this will just be a 5-10 minute break. Nope, not that one. Okay, I am back. There's a vague chance something is going to come up that interrupts me again, but we'll see how it goes. There's a question about something I was discussing earlier. Wubba was asking, what did PEGLS mean about reserved airspace? So those were notices to all airmen, and I'm not too familiar with the language, but they were Bravo 3 level. So again, this is not something I'm great at. I try to do it myself sometimes as well, but I'm not terrific at it. Bravo 3. Okay, so it's not showing the ones that were reserved then, as far as I can tell. But these are issued, and they did cover those maps, because earlier they were loading for me, and I was looking at them last week. So this is an example of one. You can see Do I have it on map? Yeah, I have it on screen for you guys. So this is a Bravo 3 level reservation, and it began April 17th at 21:30, and it's going to last till 10:30 today. And for context, it's currently 3:30, so potentially we might be here for another 7 hours. And if it goes like the January exercise did, it may take another, 1 or 2 or 3 hours to actually see traffic really begin to pick up in terms of Skymaster stuff. This is what happened in January. We had some action at the beginning, and then it really seemed like it was done. And then I kind of stayed up. It is nighttime for me right now, by the way. I stayed up. I'm sure it's nighttime for many of you as well. I stayed up, and right when I was ready to say, I'm calling it, I'm going to bed, we had messages on tons of frequencies, back to back to back, message formats I had never heard of before. And this is again all covered in a January stream I did, although we had some glitches with that stream, and a lot of what I'm talking about here, where it finally picked up at the end, we lost that footage, a YouTube live stream glitch. But that's kind of what I'm expecting to happen tonight. It's going to go dead quiet. I'm going to lose my audience. I'm going to say, you know what, guys, I think I was wrong. I think nothing's happening here. I think it was just a short, sweet thing, and we haven't heard anything for 5 hours. I'm going to bed, and as soon as I go to bed on the backup live streams, I'm sure there will be a bunch of messages. But this is, just to answer your question, this is a type of notification that's issued. And these are routine. You will often see notifications like this, but it was just something about the way they were issued where they seem to have all been issued around the same time for an extended period of time in terms of how long they were holding these reservations that made PDGLS kind of tip me off and think, these are odd. This is something to keep an eye out for. What else have we got? You guys are, some of you are asking, and I know I recognize the name, so I know nothing bad is meant by it. But in terms of censoring people for saying certain words on YouTube, do you guys remember in 2020 when we had a global health event, and there were YouTube channels, name them, right, with millions of followers, all covering a range of topics, comedy channels, science and information channels, news, and you could not say the name of the global health event because if you did, your video would get tanked in the algorithm. YouTube would detect the mention of it, and it would just get throttled. No one would have that video recommended to you. And it's to the point that not only am I afraid to say the name of the global health event on this stream right now, there are other people I watch who are also, to this day, they will not say it on stream. I'm sure you guys are mentioning in the chat box. As far as I can tell, chat box is okay. You guys aren't mentioning, I'm surprised. There are other words and other topics you can't mention on YouTube. You can't say certain things, or else it gets throttled. Now, in a sense, I don't care. This is a niche topic. I'm not expecting to ever get 50,000 people following me for boring, mundane EAM stuff 360 days of the year just because 4 or 5 days of the year I do have something to talk to you guys about. On the other hand, whatever traction I do get, it's not really worth it to just shoot myself in the foot because of it. So it takes a little bit of experience from seeing how other channels do it and stuff. But there are certain words and certain topics you can't talk about. And someone was deliberately mentioning one of them. And they tried to do it on one of the other streams, and I said, I can't, babysit this person. Now, you guys are talking about something which is kind of outside of the purview of this channel, that 911 is down. I'm going to look on the side here. We're not going to pull this up on screen, but just as a point of, I guess, because now I'm curious, is 911 actually down? Uh, we talked about this something similar on stream a couple days ago, where I said, I am kind of expecting Skymaster to happen this week, and it will really suck if Israel and Iran do something during the time, because it's going to be so hard to talk that down to like whatever audience joins and watches these videos. Because even if I feel like it's a coincidence, it'll be hard to do that. For you guys who are talking about, 911 being down right now, I'm not laughing because, yeah, so I apologize, Charles. I'm not laughing because it's a lighthearted situation. It is a serious situation. I'm laughing because for the context of this channel, people are going to be adding two and two together, and it'll be hard for me to talk this down. It's not related. I I don't know how to tell you that. It's just the U.S. military is not going to jeopardize the general public for the sake of making an exercise more realistic or anything like that. So I wouldn't worry along those lines. What I would say, if you're people who are in an area where 911 is down right now, I don't know how long it's going to last, etc., etc. I should not be the person providing you this advice, but I will say, just as a point of caution, kind of assess the situation you are in. How safe is your neighborhood? How safe are your loved ones? I always worry during a time like this. 911 is down. Some people of certain character are going to take that as an opportunity. So, for example, if you are a private business owner, your business, I'm not saying to panic. I'm just saying kind of assess your own situation. Is now a good time for you to be watching a YouTube video or not? Because you do now have something of a potential consequence going on for you. I'm not going to dwell on that because that is not what this channel is about. I can't provide you more effective commentary than that. But if that is the situation, if you are in one of the states where uh, there are now a number of people who are reporting that 911 is down in some states because a fiber line was cut. So the list I'm looking at says South Dakota, Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin, Texas, Florida, and Nevada. If you are in those states, you may not have 911 available at this time. I would recommend take a moment to think. Are you safe? Are your loved ones safe? Etc. Do not panic. Just take a moment to think. You may need to step away from the computer and take care of some things. Make sure they're secure. It's always interesting when something like that you take for granted is suddenly not available. Yeah, and please don't call 911 to test the line, I guess. And I'm not, going to be able to comment on it more effectively than that for you guys right now. Okay, we've got something going on. Well, we did. How is the other SDR doing? Oh no, don't tell me we got in queue for the Michigan SDR and then we lost it. Not Michigan, Washington. Sculpture was too low. Okay, there we go. What I actually it's an interesting overlap because right now, I'm sure there are people on shortwave radio who are hopping on to the SDRs to chat with people. Off the top, I'm not going to be able to find those frequencies without a lot of really boring clicking around and failing to correctly find it. Some of you are saying you can't hear me over the static. I'm going to turn the squelch up a bit more. So there shouldn't be any static going on right now. Okay, there's still static. Wow, this SDR has problems right now. So that one was, I think in Oregon or something like that. No, it's not Oregon, that's Utah. What, Colorado? Colorado? How do people live in that? Is there anyone from, that's all right. There we go. All right, I have to take another quick break. This one's not even going to be very long, so I'm not going to change the headline. I have got a hungry animal to take care of. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a dog's tail. Okay, thanks for your patience, folks. I had an inkling, as I've talked about during this stream, I did feel like there was probably going to be a Skymaster event today, but I wasn't able to throw all of it together quite correctly. Shoot, I've got stuff to take care of here. Yeah, as I was saying, I had an inkling that there was going to be something today. I did a little bit of preparation, but there's stuff that comes up in real life that I can't put off. God knows I put a lot of it off last week that I kind of have to jump in and out of to take care of. So one thing is taken care of, and now I have another thing to take care of. Just to give you guys context, and I've mentioned this earlier, but as people join and leave the channel, I've got a headline for you now in terms of how many Skymaster messages have been broadcast today. But this is feeling similar to what happened in January, where there were a bunch of Skymaster exercises near the start of the day. So in terms of like the universal coordinated time clock near the start of the day, which is what we had here. And then it kind of went dead. And we waited for quite a while. And I'm going to rewind the other stream when I get a chance to see when did it quite turn around. But I feel like the same thing's going to happen here. We're going to have very little radio activity traffic for the next little bit. To the point, many of you are going to say, nothing's happening. I'm probably even going to say nothing's happening and give up and end the stream and go to bed. And right after that, we're going to hear a bunch of messages. And if it happens while I'm still awake, I will hop back on and stream. But it would not surprise me if that ends up taking the same thing, like the same approach tonight happens. I'm not promising you that if you wait, 3-4 hours, you will now then overnight hear hundreds of messages back to back to back. But I will take an opportunity. I'll show you what January looked like so that you get an idea of what could happen. Um, and why I'm saying it may be worthwhile, well, please grain of salt that we don't have a great history of documenting all these, so I don't know for sure what's going to happen. Now, I want to take a look at two things here. One thing that I have to do outside of the context of this channel, and one thing that's been brought up a couple times with respect to other YouTube channels that may be dealing with this. So I'm going to take at least 10 minutes here. We'll be back at 0400. To those of you, maybe it is late for you. If you're going to go to bed tonight, have a good night. Information will be available for you on this channel. This stream will be available to rewatch tomorrow. If anything major happens, I will find time to post it on Twitter, etc. But I'm going to take a break right now. And if this is where you step off as well, no worries. If you guys have questions while I'm away, post them in the chat box. I'll take an opportunity to do that. 0400, I'll be back. Okay, guys, I am just cleaning up some loose ends here. I did reach out to the one channel you guys are saying use my content. I haven't had time to watch the video. I'm going to assume I don't automatically assume the worst.
Skymaster, this is Cuba 43 on 11175, over.
Up north, thank you, and Skymaster, thank you for coming back. Well timed. Oh, and let's throw back the
Last caller, this is Bachelor 175, taking your last over. Skymaster, this is Kiva 43 on 11175, over. Last caller, this is Bachelor 175, this is Charlie, how many over? Kiva 43, has you, Lima, Charlie. All stations, this is culinary. Quebec, 5, Kilo, Zulu, November, stand by. Quebec, 5, Yankee, Kilo, Zulu, November, stand by. Quebec, 5, Yankee, Kilo, Zulu, November, stand by. Message follows. Quebec, 5, Yankee, Kilo, Zulu, November. Bravo, Golf, X-ray, Golf, Tango, Foxtrot, 3, Romeo, Hotel, Sierra, India, 6, Mike, Uniform, Bravo, 4, I'll say again. Quebec, 5, Yankee, Kilo, Zulu, November, Sierra, Mike, Oscar, X-ray, Whiskey, Yankee, Bravo, Golf, X-ray, Golf, Tango, Foxtrot, 3, Romeo, Hotel, Sierra, India, 6, Ike, Uniform, Charlie, Bravo, 4, this is Culinary, out. Skymaster, one message of 4 items follows, stand by. Skymaster, one message of 4 items follows, stand by. Victor, Oscar, 1, Sierra. I say again, one message of 4 items follows, stand by. This is Culinary standing by for traffic. 1, Sierra. This completes one message of 4 items. This is Kiva 43, out. I'll say again, this is Culinary standing by for traffic. This is Culinary, out. Kiva 43, this is Bachelor. I am in receipt of the following traffic. Victor, Oscar, 1, Sierra. I say again, Victor, Oscar, 1, Sierra. On triple 175. How copy, over? Kiva 43, good copy. message of 6 groups. This is culinary with a 274 message of 6 groups. Message follows. Papa, India, Lima. Uniform, Quebec, Yankee, Bravo, India, Kilo, Whiskey, Papa, Delta, X-ray, Kilo, Delta, Tango, Alpha, Juliet. I say again. Papa, India, Lima, Uniform, Quebec, Yankee, Bravo, Lima, correction, India, Kilo, Whiskey, Papa, Delta, X-ray, Kilo, Delta, Tango, Alpha, Juliet. This completes a 274 message of 6 groups. This is culinary out.
Okay, a 274 mess. Well, I mean, a lot just happened.
Last caller, this is Bachelor. I have you broken and unreadable. I say again, I have you broken and unreadable. How copy over? All stations, this is Bachelor, break, Quebec, 5, Yankee, Kilo, Zulu, November, standby, Quebec, 5, Yankee, Kilo, Zulu, November, standby. Quebec, 5, Yankee, Kilo, Zulu, November, standby, message follows. Quebec, 5, Yankee, Kilo, Zulu, November, Mike, Sierra, Mike, Oscar, X-ray, Whiskey, Yankee, Bravo, Golf, X-ray, Golf, Tango, Foxtrot, 3, Romeo, Hotel, Sierra, India, 6, Mike, Uniform, Charlie, Bravo, 4, I say again, Quebec, 5, Yankee, Kilo, Zulu, November, Mike, Sierra, Mike, Oscar, X-ray, Whiskey, Yankee, Bravo, Golf, X-ray, Golf, Tango, Foxtrot, 3, Romeo, Hotel, Sierra, India, 6, Mike, Uniform, Charlie, Bravo, 4. This is Bachelor out.
Guys, I gotta...
This is Bachelor standing by for traffic.
This is where it's going to become potentially back-to-back-to-back messages, and I'm not going to be talking over them.
I say again, this is Bachelor standing by for traffic.
Or at least the intention is to try not to talk over them. But there may be a point where, I think I was mentioning earlier, if it continues to remain slow,
This is Bachelor out.
I would take an opportunity to show you guys what it was like during January and give you an idea that at some point I'm not going to be able to do commentary because they're just going to be talking nonstop. And I'm noticing some of the other streams that are running. So I just had to restart the 11175 stream because it's ran for over 12 hours. And it just missed that message being transmitted. So it's captured on this stream, that's fine, but it's a little bit of a pain for me. I want to make sure the 11175 stream restarts momentarily, because it would have just lost the last 15 minutes or so of activity.
Skymaster. This is Fiat 31 on 1175, over. Last caller, this is culinary. I'll copy, over. Culinary, one message of 4 items to follow. Stand by. Culinary, one message of 4 items to follow. Stand by. 6, Foxtrot, 9, Victor. I say again, one message of 4 items follows. Stand by. 6, Foxtrot, 9, Victor. This completes one message of 4 items. Fiat 32, out. Correct message, Fiat 44, out. Again, your last, over. We are Cava 44. I say again, we are Cava 44. November, Golf, Echo, 7, Foxtrot, Whiskey, November, 7, X-ray, Victor, Mike, 4, Uniform, 3, Golf, Alpha, X-ray, Tango, India, Echo, Alpha, Golf, Alpha, Quebec, Romeo. This completes message of 30 characters. This is 3 Quebec Golf, out.
Okay, folks, here's where it's going to get interesting. The activity is going to be a lot. I'm going to shift a bit. We've been streaming for 4 hours. We had 4 hours to kind of go through questions and stuff. We are now going to be trying to capture as much traffic on the Hfgcs as possible. J Projects, thank you very much for pointing out that activity on 5074 point. Seems like it's about 0.2 or 0.3 or something like that. That's going to be the focus right now. Let's take a look at frequencies used in the past. Well, something's about to happen on 11175. When did that broadcast? That was about 15. 5, 2-ish. Yeah, guys, if you see questions in the chat box that I've answered before, feel free to answer. We're 4 hours in. Is it an exercise? Yes, for God's sakes, it's an exercise. And I apologize now. This is kind of where I'm like, I just want to capture as much of this as possible. So I will probably start to get a little bit short-tempered if you're asking the same question again. And I apologize for that in advance. You guys are allowed to ask questions, but the focus now is going to be capturing as much message traffic as possible. Let me pull up the Discord again. For you guys who know how to use shortwave radios, these are the frequencies we're interested in right now. And I'm just sharing it on the Discord. So 4721-5074, let's see, there I can zoom in a little bit, 5121-5344, they're all there. Take a screenshot if you're interested in helping. The other thing I will note, some of these may be of interest if you're in Europe. All right, I gotta check something because I think you guys just saw too much right now. Okay, you didn't really see enough that would have been conspicuous. So this is what we'll be focusing on. And J Projects helped out last time as well, the one back in January, but we are now seeing these messages being broadcast on, these are not Hfgcs frequencies. These are not documented anywhere, but it does seem like they are using them again. How do I throw this down now? There we go. So we're going to be looking at other stuff. The other frequencies are going to be capturing... What's that? That is on 11175. I'm gonna mute that because that's just he's standing by for traffic now. Well, I'm not muted. I just kind of turned the squelch up on that. That was quite difficult to hear. But it is the same message as before. And thank you guys for helping out with transcriptions in the chat box. If you can help out with the oops, talking over something. The call signs as well. The call signs are going to change a lot. Some of them are going to be 3-letter codes and stuff. Ultimately, I have these streams and recordings, and I can go back and review them. But if you guys can help out in the chat box with that, that would be baller. So what I'm doing on the side here is pulling up additional frequencies on the side. 6039 5344 5074 11175. That's a main one. Let's see. Who's still around right now? The Swiller, do you happen to be here at the moment? Oh, for fuck's sake. Apologies for language. There's people in the chat box of the other streams just saying the silliest things. You know what? It's whatever. This is not. This is very similar to what happened back in January. The pace of events is very similar. We had messages begin at the start of the day, and again, that's going off the universal time clock. So about 4.5 hours ago, messages began broadcasting. A little under that. And it lasted for what, an hour and a half intermittently, and then stopped. I had a big opportunity to go through questions with you guys, and now it looks like we're beginning to see several different frequencies in operation. We're beginning to see now these messages being broadcast on additional frequencies that are not Hfgcs frequencies. It is interesting that they are using the same frequencies again. But let's see here. As far as the stuff you guys are bringing up with other YouTube channels, I don't have time for it at the moment. This, oh my god. If this, okay, folks, if this was real, January 11th was real. Unfortunately, we lost some of the stream footage. But I can assure you from documentation and from other things posted not just by myself, you can find these on other forums, including HF Underground, which we've looked at tonight. Anyone who's claiming that ICBMs are being loaded right now, they were loaded back in January when virtually, so far, beat for beat, the same exercise happened. The world didn't end back in January of this year, as far as I know. So we're going to focus what this channel always focuses on, which is seeing if we can capture additional messages. And J Projects, thank you very much for pointing out the reuse of 5074, was it, that's being used again? Yeah, 5074.
Skymaster, this is Air 06 on 11175, over. Bear 06, this is Bachelor for 175. Ivy Lima Charlie, how me over? Bear 06 has the US and Charlie as well. Bachelor, one message of 4 items follows. Stand by. Bachelor,
one message of 4 items followed. Stand by. 3, Oscar, 4, whiskey. I say again, one message of 4 items followed. Stand by. 3, Oscar, 4, whiskey. This completes one message of 4 items. This is Dare 06, out. Dare 06, this is Bachelor. I'm in receipt of the following traffic. 3, Oscar, 4, whiskey. I say again, I am in receipt of the following traffic. 3, Oscar, 4, whiskey. How copy, over? Good copy, Dare 06. Skymaster, this is Dare 05 on 111.75, over. Dare 05, this is Bachelor on 111.75. I have your Lima Charlie, how me, over. Bachelor, Dare 05 has you loud and clear, over. And Bachelor, one message of 4 items followed. Stand by. Bachelor, one message of 4 items followed. Stand by. Whiskey, golf, Oscar, 9. I say again, one message of 4 items followed. Stand by. Whiskey, golf, Oscar, 9. This completes one message of 4 items. This is Dare 05, out. Culinary break. Quebec, 5. November, stand by. Quebec, 5. Yankee, Kilo, Zulu, November, stand by. Quebec, 5. Yankee, Kilo, November, stand by. Message follows. Quebec, 5. Yankee, Kilo, Zulu, November, Mike, Sierra, Mike, Oscar, X-ray, Whiskey, Yankee, Bravo, Golf, X-ray, Golf, Tango, Foxtrot, 3, Romeo, Hotel, Sierra, India, 6, Ike, Uniform, Charlie, Bravo, 4, I say again. Quebec, 5, Yankee, Kilo, Zulu, November, Mike, Sierra, Mike, Oscar, X-ray, Whiskey, Yankee, Bravo, Golf, X-ray, Golf, Tango, Foxtrot, 3, Romeo, Hotel, Sierra, India, 6, Ike, Uniform, Charlie, Bravo, 4. This is Culinary, out. This is Culinary, standing by for traffic. This is Culinary, standing by for traffic.
Thanks for helping out in the chat box with some of the transcriptions, guys.
How come my over? I'm in receipt of the following traffic. Whiskey, Golf, Oscar, 9. I say again, I'm in receipt of the following traffic. Whiskey, Golf, Oscar, 9. I'll copy over.
Again. Okay, at this moment, we clearly can't get a good read on anything. I'm looking at 11175 stream running parallel right now. It's getting a good read of the 11175 message. Whatever is going on in 5074-ish, the way that message is being read obviously sounds ridiculous. It sounds like a Scooby-Doo character or something. That could just be a board operator, which would probably be great evidence that this is an exercise. Because in a real world thing, I don't think people will be doing funny voices. What I have to try and do is find a SDR in the southeast US that is getting a better copy on that 5074 traffic. Because so far that is just sounding awful. It's barely breaking through the static. So we're going to try one in Georgia right now. Failing that, we're going to try one in Texas. Now it might be over. And it might help if we return to the right frequency. Another thing, if you guys are listening to the Hfgcs and J Project, you as well, if you're listening on one side of the country, I guess we'll say, if you remember what happened back in January, and if you don't, I'll just remind you, we were getting like really good reception on some of those, like, I'm gonna call them secret frequencies tonight. I apologize, it's probably misleading terminology, but we're gonna talk about the secret frequencies. Well, let's see what this is.
Traffic, Echo, November, Echo, India. I say again, I'm in receipt of the following traffic. Echo, November, Echo, India. I'll copy over.
$67.78 is going. Whoops. 78.
characters. This is November 4 Charlie out. Quebec 5 Yankee Kilo Zulu November standby. Quebec 5 Yankee Kilo Zulu November standby. Quebec 5 Yankee Kilo Zulu November standby. Message of 30 characters follows. Quebec 5 Yankee Kilo Zulu November Mike Sierra Mike Oscar X-ray Whiskey Yankee Bravo Golf X-ray Golf Tango Foxtrot Tree Romeo Hotel Sierra India 6 Mike Uniform Charlie Bravo 4 I say again Quebec 5 Yankee Kilo Zulu November Mike Sierra Mike Oscar X-ray Whiskey Yankee Bravo Golf X-ray Golf Tango Foxtrot Tree Romeo Hotel Sierra India 6 Mike Uniform Charlie Bravo 4 This completes message of 30 characters. This is November 4 Charlie out.
Okay, it's impossible for me to squelch that frequency because of that whatever background noise that's going on. I don't think that's them broadcasting. I think that's a natural interference going on there. I could be wrong. We're just gonna have to bear with that because that's really good reception of that band. As far as the other frequencies, uh, so 11175, we're going to let the main frequency take care of it. And what I want to do right now is see if I can do something. Let's see. Someone's asking, can I explain what is happening? There, you've joined during happening. We're 4 hours in. You're gonna rewind. You're gonna want to rewind to the beginning. It's hard for me right now because I'm gonna be juggling 10 different things at once. And how do I get this to work? Okay. So there won't be audio for you of the bottom right screen, but it's just for context for when I review this stream to figure out what was happening when. The 11175 stream, which is running on this channel right now, is just on the bottom right corner. No audio. I should specify that. Is that updated? Okay. Okay. Yeah, the background noise must be pretty brutal. I'm gonna maybe just have it down to like 0. And I'll have to keep an eye on it. I think that station is broadcasting, what is that, can't really tell. Maybe every 30 minutes on the 15s. Not confident on that, so we'll have to keep an eye out. As far as what is going on 11175, I can't tell you. I'm not monitoring it, but the live stream tonight, or sorry, when the live stream is done, I will be downloading that and reviewing all the audio. Apparently there is some crazy activity going on. If any of you are running that stream in parallel, if you want to drop comments in the chat about what they are broadcasting so I can get an idea, I'll be happy to comment on that. But right now, our focus is on the quote-unquote secret frequencies. I'm calling them that. No one else is calling them that. That is not an accurate name. It's just, it's quick, it's catchy. And even if I try and not call them that, I'm going to make so many mental slips during this that we're just calling them that. And to let you guys know, when we do catch a message, especially on one of these secret frequencies, we are going to just stop and listen to them. And just to show you guys the quote-unquote secret frequencies again, that's not it. Is this going to show it? Okay. There they are. If you're interested in monitoring these, if you know how to use an SDR, grab a snapshot of these. Guys, I will ask as a point of politeness, I don't have time to manage what other channels are doing right now. We will deal with that in the morning. I also don't feel like making enemies, so I already have a couple channels that don't like me, and there's also another channel you guys are mentioning. I haven't interacted with them much. I don't know what their audience is. I don't know what their deal is. I don't even know what they're saying about tonight, so let's just focus on uh, what we're seeing on the stream. If you guys can help with monitoring the additional frequencies, that's awesome. Again, these ones that I'll throw up on stream again. Those are the ones we're interested in tonight. If you're not able to help with that, I don't know what to tell you. You are welcome to watch. You're welcome to ask questions, and whenever opportunity, I'll get to it. But my focus right now is on picking up what traffic we can on any of these secret frequencies, I guess we're calling them. So we're not picking anything up in Alaska on that covert frequency, I guess we'll call it. 5070, we need 5074 covered. Nope. 4721. Why does it look like that? That's why. How long am I going? If I become exhausted, that'll be the end of it, but potentially this will last until 1000 UTC. The Swiller, you're stepping away for 2030. No worries. It's mostly the other stream chat boxes that are being silly, and if it just gets bad, I'm just going to lock those chat boxes. All commentary should be going here and questions. Kingsman, so yeah, I did see you on the other stream. You were asking questions. Hello, what the hell is this? Oh, of course it ends just as I switch. Rewind to the start, I would say. I go through it. And give you some context on what's going on. There's also a pinned video in the chat box. So we've got a couple information sources. Yeah, that would be the brief thing. We're just listening to the U.S. military radio communications. It is most likely an exercise. And when I say most likely, that's not like me guessing. It's more... I'm not a sensationalist. I'm not like other YouTube channels, so unless I know something with absolute confidence, put it this way, I'm not someone who says the sun will rise for sure tomorrow. I say it will probably rise tomorrow. So this is probably a military exercise along the same lines. Something happened around the same time last year. Right now, we're in the phase of the exercise where they are broadcasting on frequencies that I wouldn't expect them to broadcast on. In a sense, they don't normally use these frequencies. We have a little bit of a sense here that this is similar to something that happened in January. I understand other channels may be saying things about me at this time. I'm not too concerned. Okay, what is that signal? That's probably them. That sounds like a data signal I've heard them use in the past. I previously had someone identify it to me as ADVNT or AVDNT. I don't immediately remember the abbreviation, but it sounds quite similar to that. 7703. I'm not getting anything. These guys are not getting 7703. Did I miss it? Three away. Just to let folks know, yikes. Can you guys hear me? This is not looking good for the stream. You guys are hearing me, Lima Charlie. Okay. Something is taking up too much RAM. So I just killed a bunch of stuff in the background. Fuck. That's not good. It's OBS itself that is taking up too much RAM. Oh, that's wonderful. That is not good. The streaming software is going to crash if it hasn't already. Ho ho. Not good. So guys, I need to end the stream because it looks like the streaming software is freezing up. And what I don't want to do is lose any of the footage that we've had so far. So this is going to be a two-part live stream. And part one is currently in the middle of ending as soon as things feel like working for me here. So another stream will start immediately after this one. It's just going to be titled the same, and there's going to be a lot of cleaning up to do. Sorry about this. It's going to end shortly.